You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
Beefed up. The wasteland is a post-apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to see the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 431st edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, and I am joined this evening by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, we've got Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greeps, everybody.
And also Ray. What's going on, Ray?
Hello, hello.
We are the show who compares and contrasts Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quest with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everybody. Tonight we will go with our gameplay, what we've been getting into off the top of the show. Got a couple of feedback because we've been going through Fallout 4's DLCs and survival mode. We're wrapping up our season here pretty soon. Right now we are over there in Nuka World, so we just played the Galactic Zone and also the Muddy Cowboy area, whatever that place is called. Gulch, Mad Rock Gulch. No,
Muddy Gulch.
Muddy
Yep.
Gulch, yes.
They call it dry rock, but it's awful muddy.
Dry rock.
And
I said Mad
and
Rock.
like moist with those Brahmin and stuff. Just gross.
Those
Gross.
bloodworms are moist. And I've slapped together a quick game right here as I was logging in. We're calling it the Attractive Galaxy. It'll be a Scream at Your Phone list, so we'll go through that. And one quick shout on our way out the door. So let's go ahead and roll into it. Ray, what have you been getting into this week? You had any time for video games?
Yeah, little here and there. So
Play
I
any,
did.
any Fallout?
Did you not play any video games this week, Ray? Like, was there a moment when you weren't playing games is the question.
I did sleep a little bit.
Have you gone through your pre-Starfield meal prep release plan yet? Like, because you had meal prepped everything for like, because did you have to freeze dry and freeze food and you get through all that your back stock yet?
We're into the delivered food now.
He still doesn't have time to cook. He's got to get into the food delivery system now. All right, that's good.
Yeah. So, although I feel like such a slacker because I am not anywhere close to 200 hours yet.
Are there people out there who are 200 hours in to Starfield?
Oh, you got to
already?
imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, without a doubt, and yet at the same time, very, very few. Comparing hours and time played with people, almost nobody's over 100. And I think, Ray, you said you were at like 130 or something at this point?
No, at this point, I'm 170 something.
He's nowhere near
okay.
200. He's 199.
I would call that close in my book. It's been out. The game has officially been out for early access players for 2 weeks now. Only 2 weeks for early access and a week and a half for regular. So, yeah, that's more than a full-time job.
And I did find some time to, record a Nomad Sky podcast.
Episode 100, if I'm not mistaken,
that's
correct?
true.
Attaboy. Congratulations, Ray.
Thanks.
Everyone out there. All
Great
right.
job to Baker and Pentagrulia for their, tireless contribution.
Dedication that takes. Good job, guys.
I've, still been getting some episodes of The Expanse in.
Oh, awesome.
Sweet.
And I knew that I was going to be time challenged if I wasn't careful. And so I've already started my Shank missions.
Smart. Very smart. Shank being the person who sends us into the Commonwealth to invade.
Yeah. And this weather mod may have been a mistake.
Uh-oh.
Oh, really?
So I got on the tram in the Commonwealth, and everything was bright and sunny and everything. And the trip from
the Commonwealth to Nuka World is that long scripted, video tour that you can't get past. You have to go through that. And when I got to, when it fades to black in the load screen, then it comes out, and I was in one of those mega red storms. And
Which are intense. For people that don't know, they are very intense.
yeah, so I mean, this is hitting, I've got pretty good rad protection, but it was still hitting me with, 12, 13 rads.
Mhm.
And so by the time I got to the Nuka World stop, I had just a sliver of health and couldn't get away from it. I mean, there was just no way to get anywhere where I would stop taking any rads, and so I died.
Oh, wow. Okay. And when was your last save?
Well, fortunately, so I have sunshine tidings.
Okay.
And so I always sleep at Sunshine Tidings before heading to the train station. So fortunately, I was just right there in Sunshine Tidings.
Yeah,
So,
a 5-minute walk.
Yeah, half a mile up the hill there. Yeah.
And then a couple of times when I would travel to the Commonwealth, they would be in a rad storm. I could get to I could get to Sunshine Tidings, but I couldn't fast travel anywhere, because if I fast traveled with Rad Storm, I would die. And so,
that is such a difficult thing. Is that even with a fast travel mod in survival, it's like, no, if it's if you get taken rads, you take them the entire journey.
Yeah. And so I got stuck in a couple of different places. Most recently, I'm stuck inside of the National Guard post over there by County Crossings. Because every time I go out, it's still, rad storm, and I've waited for more than 24 hours now, and it still hasn't gone away.
Oh, that's really unusual. Now,
Yeah.
You're using the natural and atmospheric Commonwealth like I am, right?
Yeah.
So you can ban that weather from the climate if you want.
Yeah, I'm to that point now. So I did. Before I quit, I hotkeyed the clear weather, and so now from this point on, I'm not messing around. If it's nasty, it's going away.
Like to let it happen naturally, but I agree. Like, enough is enough.
Yeah, I tried to be patient, but there's only so much, and you just have so much travel that you have to do with this, because you talk to Shank, he gives you a quest, you go do it, then you have to go back, talk to Shank gives you another quest, you go back out, and do that, then go back to Shank back to Commonwealth.
It definitely wasn't designed for survival with multiple maps and all that. I mean, we'll be going over it next week, but there is a lot of travel.
Yeah.
Can we recruit Shaq as a follower and just assign her to over there to Sunshine Tidings? I made that mistake with Gage. He was my follower, and I dismissed him and assigned him to Sunshine Tidings. And I realized I needed to turn in the quest to him, and I couldn't just go up to Fizztop. I had to go back to the mainland to turn in
Made
that
that
quest.
Mistake with Longfellow too, with him attacking you.
Whole lot of mistakes with Longfellow. He's not happy.
Yeah. So
Ray, what you're telling me is
I gotta hop on that. But otherwise, all I've been doing is playing Starfield.
So what you're telling me is Fallout was paying attention to all those times when you picked up a cabbage with alteration magic and fast traveled in Skyrim, but it's doing the reverse to you.
Yeah, it's punishing me.
It's punishing you for all those times that you did the cabbage exploit. Oh boy. So like you're just in the train, it's giving you all the the radiation damage from rad storms and
Yeah, it's like need
accounting for
a
that.
What are you gonna do about it? You can't do squat.
You can't get off this damn train. And there's only one way back to the park. That sucks. All right, so what are you getting into Starfield? What are your exciting adventures there? Non-spoilery. We're going to stay spoiler free for probably a couple more weeks before we start talking about that stuff.
Yeah, I would actually have to be doing quests for me to be spoilery.
No, you're not concentrating on quests at all?
Not, none of the major quests. Now I've done, so I guess at this point I've done the Vanguard. I've done the Sith Staff. I've done the Crimson Fleet. I've done the Rangers.
Okay, so Vanguard, we know they're the UC Vanguard. Sysdef, what is Sysdef?
Sysdef is the
With the pirates?
yeah,
the infiltration? Okay.
And now I've done all of the little neon side quests.
Oh, wow. So you did Ryujin. You did all of that. So you've basically done, that's 5 factions there, right? Rangers, Ryujin, Vanguard, Sysdef, and Pirates. Yeah. That's a lot of faction quests. I know you said no spoilers, but are you finding they hold up, that it's really good story and writing? I mean, that's what I've heard, and I've certainly done some.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's
awesome.
Yeah. Each one of them was completely worth doing. So
are these all on different characters? Because I know you like to dip your toe in 6-7 different characters running at the same time.
I think I've got one for each. So the only one that double dipped was my pirate character is also the one that did the Vanguard. Because I took the Vanguard method to get in instead of the going to jail method.
Yeah, instead of larceny. Like, I mean, there are 2 ways to infiltrate the fleet. They're like, oh, you want a life of crime? It's kind of like the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim. Like, oh, you killed somebody and Aster takes you. Like, that's the one way to get in. They're like, you like killing people, here you go. They're like, hey, you like stealing things, join the pirates. But you can also do it naturally through the Vanguard. So I like that there's multiple ways to get in there.
But so I did discover, so, if you want to start a new character, it's certainly no alternate start mod, but, if you go to your save files, the very first save file for your character, is when you wake up, from the vision.
Perfect. And you have to do your character sheet.
You have to do your character. And so if you start there, you just start right into character building. And so that's been handy because I have started a few different characters. So I tried pure melee, and that's been fun. I'm not going to do unarmed because everything I've seen on that is that it's horrible.
Even if you get it ranked up to 4 or 5 or whatever?
Yeah, maxed out still sucks.
That stinks.
I did a pistol character. I still need to do shotguns.
Are there any unarmed weapons? Like in Fallout, you're not technically unarmed because you have the Power Fist or a Deathclaw Gauntlet or Brass Knuckles or something. Are there any?
Nope.
There's no unarmed weaponry?
Nope.
Well, that might explain it. Good night.
Yeah, it's a strange choice, especially with the dedicated melee button, because any melee weapon you're using, you're going to actually use your regular attack buttons. But you've got that dedicated melee button, and you're not really going to bop things that often.
Yeah. My first character, I did the Mantis quest. That was a lot of fun.
Super fun. And we talked about it a little bit last week. I know we're not spoiling things, although it's been 2 weeks now, so more people are doing it. But yeah, it seems like a lot of people in our group have done those quests. And some of them even picked up the Razor Leaf, the cool ship you get at the end of that if you do it.
Yeah. And so I've been having a blast shipbuilding. Just playing around with. So my pirate character is also the one that has the highest level of um, the shipbuilding perks.
Right. That's the
So
one you played the longest, probably too, doing 2 quest lines with and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I do have to say about your shipbuilding. It's what we joked about it last week. I'm like, oh, he's a builder now. But then this week, you've done it even more. And like, you've shown a couple ships that are just intense. Like, you're really getting the design here.
Well, and so I'm still trying to build a freighter.
Hmm.
So I've got my long haul trucker, Cletus. So the challenge there is that I'm having a hard time leveling him up, but I think I may have a way to go now, to be able to get some good levels, to be able to get the perks. But I've made a couple of abominations. So I have a fairly good routine of saving before I start any any ship build. Because the biggest thing is that you don't know, even if you know what the parts are, if depending on the order that you put them together will change the way that they are inside. And so, if you connect part A to part B, it
Mhm.
looks one way, but if you connect part B to part A, it'll look different.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put them side to side because it creates a passageway in between compartments and habs too. So where the doors might move or where the ladders might move, stuff like that. Did you?
Um,
There's also
so
variants. I haven't tried all of them. I wish, like you're saying, I wish you'd kind of check them out while you were building. That would be nice.
yeah, so what I do is I put together a build, a basic build, that'll get me past the flight check. And then I exit and I go look at the hab, to see what it looks like inside.
Hmm.
Does it have everything I'm looking for? I mean, the number of times that I've ended up with no bed. Um,
You need to have at least one of those all-in-one berths or living quarters. Yeah, it's
yeah, but
it
you can
is.
still, if you can still, depending on how you connect things, you can lose your bed, even though there was a bed in there, when you connected it
Oh,
a
right, because
different
of where
way.
they move part of the wall to take the door and they take your bed
Yeah,
away.
yeah,
Yeah, I just wish there were more that have multiple crew. Like the computer room is fine and you get 4 crew from it. Then I will not computer room, the tactical room or command center, whatever it's called, has 4.
yeah,
And that's great. And then the computer room has 1 and then nothing else has crew. And I'm like, no, I want to be able to have at least 3 crew all the time.
yeah.
You
So that's been, that's been good to be able to you build something, even you don't care what it looks like. It just has all the correctly connected parts so that
Mhm.
you can exit, go walk through it, see what it looks like, then go back, try something else.
You're auditioning
And
partial builds.
yeah, so it takes a ton of time, but at least you've got a better idea of what you've got, when you build it.
So now, do all your characters at this point have custom ships, or just your pirate character is doing the
I
most like
think I've
that?
got, well, everybody has at least a beefed up frontier.
Hmm.
Um, the first thing I've got to do is get particle weapons on my ship.
Yeah, particle weapons are so good. And for people who don't know how to read that, so particle weapons is a skill, and there are a couple of regular weapons that use it. But on ships, it's disruptors mostly, right? They're either labeled as particle beams or disruptors, and those are both.
Yeah, PB30 is the one that I use.
And Barrett's skill, he has the skill to boost it. So you have Barrett on your ship as crew, and suddenly you're rocking a level 2 on it, and they're pretty great.
Yeah, yeah. Even without any skill points in particle beams, they're still better than everything else. They do equal damage to
Shields and
hulls,
hull.
and that's the only weapon I put on. So
Really, just them.
all of my power goes to those. So you have 4 of those.
They do burn through power, though.
Yeah, but because you're not trying to parse out a little bit of power to ballistics and a little bit of power to missiles, all your power goes to that. I give just minimal power to the engines, because most of the time you're just going to be sitting there and blowing them out as they come towards you.
You're more like playing asteroids. Everything's moving. You're just staying in the middle and spinning. I can totally picture that.
And so it's super effective. I don't have to worry about, targeting. I don't have to worry about, flying around and getting behind somebody. I don't, my pirate character has the targeting skill, but I don't use it on any of the other ones.
No, you don't need to much,
yeah.
right? Unless you're taking stuff over.
Yeah, unless you're trying to take a ship, I'm just melting them. That's all I'm concerned about. I just want destruction. And hopefully it's not spoilery, but rob the Galbank ships.
Or don't, unless you're a pirate. If you are, that sounds pretty lucrative. I tried trading with Galbank too, and man, they are jerks. They're like, yeah, we're a bank ship, not a pawn shop. Go screw yourself, basically, is what they said. I'm like, dude, no, they're rude. So I tell you, when I do play pirate, they're in trouble.
Yeah, because you're getting 5 digits.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful. Also, quick shout out to Dwight. Thank you for encouraging us. He mentioned that he learned more from Ray and I and Andrew chatting about ships last week than most of the videos or the people talking ships that he's heard. So we're doing it again.
Yeah.
No, just Ray and Jess. Andrew had nothing to do with that conversation.
So, but yeah, I did an explorer character, because I wanted to figure out the outpost system, and quickly confirmed that yes, I don't like that.
Okay. We'll get into outposts more when I'm talking my gameplay, but yeah, it's definitely it's a different system. It is. It's not the shipbuilding.
Yeah. So, but I had a fun time. So the most recent ship that I built with it was my Neon Street Rat, the one that joined the Strikers. That's the one that has the kind of the cockpit is at the back of the ship.
Weird.
And it has the 2 rails out each side.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And that was kind of interesting. So the cockpit and the habs that I wanted were from Hope Tech. But Hope Tech doesn't sell the Nova frames, which I like. So I went to New Atlantis and bought all the frames that I wanted. And so when I flew out of New Atlantis, my ship was just covered in frames.
Just like attaching them for like strapping cargo on the Volkswagen.
Yeah, just randomly stuck all over this thing, and then flew to Hopetown, and then took everything apart and put it together the way I wanted it.
Hopetown, home of Ron Hope. Yeah, they make their own parts. I've got a few Hope Tech parts on the ship that I got from my parents. They seem like, a good variety there. Quick tip for those who haven't done outpost building, and not trying to get you to, but if you do build the landing pad with a shipbuilder in your outpost, you get access to base level of a lot of the different companies all in one place.
Yeah.
Not the rare ones, not the more advanced bits, but you get the base level stuff for multiple.
Yeah. And that was kind of a goal, when I started putting together my base building character. but quickly became not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're doing that because you love it and have fun with it, knock yourself out. Do it.
You're doing it because you get rich. That's not a bad goal either. Just saying.
Okay, great. So is knocking over Galbank ships.
Good point. And that's probably a heck of a lot more fun for most people.
But yeah, so getting the parts you want can be an interesting process, and it can mean that you're flying around on a little bit of a Frankenstein until you get all the pieces gathered together that you want, and can can pull it all together.
Makes sense. But you've posted some just really cool designs in the Discord. That one you did earlier today that I said it was halfway between a starship and a mech. It's just it's a beast. It looks really good with those gun rails and stuff.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was my most recent one. That was a lot of fun. Although I kept having to slap engines on the stupid thing. So this character is not super high level,
Mhm.
and I think they're level 8, and so no shipbuilding skills at all, and so it just required. It took 5 engines and 5 landing gear.
5 landing gear too. Oh wow.
Yeah. To get it off the ground, but it does have plenty of shielded storage. So,
Sweet. For running that contraband.
yeah, like a good street rat would.
So wow, I mean that's awesome. So a lot of side quest gameplay in Starfield that we'll get into more over time, and shipbuilding sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep. Still is still not really doing anything with Constellation. So
Yeah, main quest. What main quest? That's the Bethesda way. It's so funny. We're 2 weeks ago after when it very first released. There were a couple people who said maybe rush the main quest, and then last week, I said, oh, things are mixed now. That some people are saying, it's good to get a little ways into the main quest and open up a couple of cool abilities, but otherwise, play like you want. And this week, now 2 weeks in, I'm seeing even more people who are really saying that, being like, yeah, take your time. Take your time. Now, a few people, like our friend Jerry, for instance, are addicted to New Game Plus, and on their 4th New Game Plus right now,
drive
just
through, yeah.
mainlining stuff. Yeah, but I think he's going to settle down finally from what he's saying. But yeah, like there's cool stuff to it. There's cool stuff in finishing the story and being able to continue, like always. And you can continue playing with the character you're on, or you can do, another thing with the NG Plus. But yeah, more and more people are saying no. Take your time, have a full playthrough, and then enjoy it because it's just more rewarding that way. So I'm glad because, like you, Ray, I'm playing like we play Bethesda games.
Yeah.
So it's good.
How
Yeah,
often-
so I think I'll probably settle down at some point and do a character that kind of progresses through the different factions, in a more ordered fashion.
Yeah, kind of classic. One character does a lot of things, sort of way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because now that I understand the continuity, I kind of know, there's certain things that you wouldn't do. Like if you're going to be a good character, you wouldn't do the pirates, you wouldn't do Raging, you wouldn't do basically anything in Neon. Because everything there is pretty seedy.
Oh, really? Really
Yeah.
interesting.
But you could definitely see, ways to weave the Free States and the Brotherhood of Steel together into one character.
Interesting. Cool. Free States and
and-
Brotherhood of Steel, he says. I
And
think
it'll
you
def-
mean.
No, that's what I meant. So no, it'll definitely be. I'll go Brotherhood of Steel, then to Free States,
Makes sense.
because there's there's some ways to make that make sense in a character's
Yeah.
life.
despite the fact that they're kind of at odds with each other, I think I might go pure NCR on this character.
Mm. So it's it's just been so much fun, just kind of learning all the different, bits and bobs in the game. There's so much to it. Holy smokes.
Yeah, it is one deep game for sure.
How often do you have to?
Just getting out to the planets and figuring that whole mechanic out.
Andrew, you were saying something?
I was just asking, how often do you guys have to look stuff up, or are you just playing the game until you figure it out in the game itself?
In my case, and probably Ray's, I imagine, mostly playing without looking stuff up, right? Like,
yeah. I'll occasionally look up a planet.
Yeah, like a star map or planet stats, exactly. A few things like that. Or if I'm on a really interesting quest line, I might look at something about a character, like if there's a reason to. But no, it's been mostly just the star maps. Is pretty much it.
So shipbuilding was all trial and error sort of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, because there really isn't anything else. I mean, there's, it's kind of interesting. So I've watched a couple of videos of people building ships, and there's just, I mean, unless you copy exactly what they do,
mm-hmm.
If they give you the exact order of their build, then you could come up with something exactly like theirs.
A lot of them aren't talking through the parts that much too. The majority of shipbuilding videos I've seen, they've already got all the parts and they're laid out and they're just kind of putting parts together. No, talk through the parts. So, I feel like we need to do some more in-depth shipbuilding videos where we're actually explaining why we choose certain parts and what the variants are.
Right. And where you can get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of them are these guys that have, taken the time to build their base up to where they have the shipbuilding platform. And so now they have access to all these different parts. Well, not everybody's going to build that way.
No, exactly. Like I was saying, I did, but that's certainly not where I did my ship at first. And there's still good reasons to build at certain locations.
Yeah.
For the rare and specialty.
The rare parts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still trying. I've gotten to level 3 of ship design. And so I've got to start looking at, what parts that unlocks. But I definitely want to get to, level 4 so I can see what kind of stuff that unlocks too. So,
all right, so let's do a mini lesson now. I can't tell how far deep I am into the main quest because, haven't played the game before, but I'm at I feel like I'm fairly deep into the main quest. I'm at a part where usually if I'm, faced with any sort of space battle, I just slam on the gravity booster thing and I'm out of there and I'm not ever forced to fight. Well, I'm on a part of a quest now where I have to do a space battle in order to get to the planet. And
that will happen sometimes.
I've attempted a few times, and I just am getting my ass ripped apart. I'm just getting shredded. So I want you to talk me through. What was it you mentioned? Like particle beams or something earlier, and Barrett or Barnett, whatever his name is, that guy.
Yeah, Barrett.
So just talk me through what the fuck are particle beams? Where do I get those parts? Do I have to get skills in order to use them? Just because I haven't invested anything in technology, any shipbuilding. I've attempted twice that I've sat down, I'm like, okay, I'm going to figure out this shipbuilding, and I walk away throwing my controller.
So number one, shipbuilding. There are a number of perks that can help, especially over all the way to the right on the tech tree. But you don't need any of them. You don't need any of them to get yourself a pretty solid upgrade to Frontier in a bunch of ways. I don't have very
I'm
much
not in Frontier anymore. I had to buy a new ship that went further because Frontier couldn't go as far or something.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could upgrade Frontier, absolutely,
So
but okay.
I
yeah,
don't
you did
know
that
how to
too.
do that. You said
Right,
you
so-
just say upgrade your ship. Like, what does that mean? Where
That's
do I do
what
that?
I'm
Who do I go to?
About
Like,
to get
yeah.
into. Okay, so when you go to a ship builder, you land on any planet, any of the big cities, and you're there. There's a ship technician you can go to. The ship technician, you can, just chat with them. You can have them repair your ship if it needs repairs, which usually they don't, because they're naturally going to heal over time. But you can also go into the shipbuilder. You can, what do you have for sale? Find ships you can buy or sell. And then the other option is I would like to view and modify my ships. When you go into view and modify your ships, that is where you can set which ship is your home ship. And of course, whichever ship is your home ship is the one that will be docked, that you'll take off in, all your cargo will move to, all that. On that, you can also choose one of two options. Upgrade ship is an option. What upgrade will do, it'll take a look at the ship you have, and it'll have categories for a lot of the major components of it. You know how you have, when you're flying a ship, you've got the little power bars on the left where you allocate your power? Essentially, those sections are broken down. So you'll have your 3 different weapon systems, or however many weapon systems you have. You have your weapon systems broken down into categories. Then you'll have, say, I don't know, your reactor. You'll have your grav drive. You'll have your shield. Just a couple little things like that. And in this one, so it kind of lays them across horizontally. So when you go to one of them, you click it, and it will then give you a list of what it can be changed to at this location. So it won't give you a list of every necessarily thing available, but just what you can swap to at this location. So say you've got, I don't know, a G200 something reactor, and you click on it. You go, just go over to the reactors. You click on it. It'll show you can get the G100 or the G300, and obviously the 100 would be a downgrade, 300 would be an upgrade. Okay, and that's just upgrading the components you have. So you're not moving, rearranging, or designing anything on your ship. You're simply saying, in this category, I want to switch to this or use the best one available for what I have. Okay, and on the basic Frontier, there's about 1 step up on everything, maybe 2 on a couple of categories. Some of the other ships is going to be more depending on what they start with. So that's upgrade. Okay, you're basically going through these 6 to 8 components, and you're choosing what to change, and it's just going to swap it for you. You don't need to touch anything. Doing it from a list. In that list with weapons, by the way, you can go down to the particle beams that Ray is talking about, or the disruptors that I like. You can do that there. So you can swap your lasers. Like say you're on the Frontier. You can swap the front lasers for disruptors or for particle beams, and they'll be tough. So that's one option. The shipbuilder is the other option. You choose that. You're essentially clicking on parts. You can delete parts. You can move parts and reattach them only to attachment points. You can buy new parts and attach them. That's a lot more complicated and is a kind of a trial and error thing. The amount of parts that you'll see that you can use are essentially, like we're saying, each of the big cities have parts that they stock, and it can change by which big city you're in because they have different manufacturers that supply them. Then, as you get levels in like starship engineering, ship design, that kind of stuff, like Ray is talking about, you're going to unlock more parts. So the list is going to grow. But luckily, it keeps it simple for you at first. It doesn't give you things you can't use. So in a way, this is a blessing. Yeah, it sucks. You have to unlock skills to do some things, but it also can be good in that you're not going to screw it up so bad because you don't have like 200 things and grabbing the wrong thing. So as you level up your pilot, like for instance, I have leveled up my piloting skill a lot. And so I've unlocked Class B reactors, and so I can use Class B equipment now. And so that's on my list. And that's essentially it. Those are the 2 sections. Upgrade is the one you want to choose most of the time, unless you really want to get into it. And it is good to actually go to shipbuilder and actually just go to the item, delete what it is, and then put the very best of it you can get that maybe you won't get in the upgrade menu because it's too different. But always save before you go into shipbuilder too. That's always save before you go into shipbuilder, because that way you can just, while you can exit out, like when you're in there, everything you do is kind of, it does a running tally. Things you've removed, things you've bought, a total charge. You don't pay for a darn thing until you save and exit. And so you can just back out anytime. But say you do save and exit, and then you're like, oh shit, this is not what I wanted. You can then go back and reload the save.
Yep. Yeah. And so for me, for simplicity's sake, in space battle, get I mean, everybody is going to be a little bit different, but for me, the first thing I do is I go in and I delete the missiles, I delete the lasers, and I delete the cannons. And then I put on, either depending on if I make modifications to the ship or not. Either if I don't make any modifications, I can put on 3 of the PB-30s. And that'll give you respectable power.
Yep.
If I make a few tweaks and can actually add a 4th one, I do that. Because 4 of them is the max that you can put on, because that maxes out your power bar.
Mhm.
But now when you go into your power allocation, all of your available power is sent to that one weapon, and you don't have to worry about whether you've got enough power to your missiles to fire them fast enough, or whether you have
Right.
enough to your cannon to fire that fast enough.
And there's nothing wrong with running things at half too. But if you can simplify and just full power, why not, right?
If you run them in half, then they're going to fire slower. And so that's what the power does. The power impacts how quickly they fire and recharge.
Yeah, on the recharge is a big one. Like my favorite disruptor that I use, it will totally run a charge, and I got to let it recharge, and that can take a minute.
But with those PB-30s, you're firing fast, you're firing hard, with no skills at all. I think they do like 13.5 damage each
To both shields and hull.
to
Yep.
both shields and hull. And so if you have 4 of them on there, you're doing 50 damage or whatever it is, which is better than anything else you already had on there by a long shot.
And talking space battles too, people's opinions vary, but it does seem like the majority of people find it a good thing to do in third person. I mean, you would anyway, but a lot of us play first person for most of the game, and space battles seem a lot easier in third person. You get better spatial awareness and stuff like that. You can easily track where things are on your screen. That helps. Assigning crew really helps. Early on, I say there's a character, Gideon, you can hire at the viewport bar in New Atlantis. He has +2 missiles and +2 lasers. So if you're running missiles and lasers, he's great to have. If you're running disruptors like Ray's talking about, and you have your buddy Barrett, assign your buddy Barrett to the crew. He does +2 on that. Vasco does +2 on your shields. When I say +2, it's actually level 2. There are different benefits you get from them. But crew can really help and make a difference, for sure. Training in the simulator too. If you start the Vanguard quest doing that simulator, by the way, I know we're not on my gameplay now, but I got level 6 on the simulator. I'm pretty proud.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I only got 5 the first time, but once
We'll call you Tom Cruise.
I got 5 the first time, and so I got good pay, citizenship in 5 years, all that good stuff. I was excited. But then I went back once I got a certain level of security and did a thing, and I managed to pass level 6 after doing the thing, and I was very happy. So I might have Kobayashi Maru'd a bit, but it was worth it.
Nice. Do I need to take any skills at all?
No.
No.
Because I'm
I
doing
mean, you
the
do,
same
but-
I'm doing the same stupid thing that I do in Fallout 4, where I'm like, oh, I don't know where I'm going to put this point. Where do I put this point? Do I put it effectively? So I've got 12 unused
Yeah,
level
that's
up
bad.
points.
What?
That's bad.
No, always allocate every point you get. I mean,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean-
Never save them.
So, I mean, you might bank 3 or 4 of them in case you want to attack a particular skill and get it maxed out as quick as possible.
Like we were talking with Pilot, right, for that trick of leveling up a bunch in the simulator. But no, Andrew, are you serious? What level are you at right now?
25.
And you haven't allocated points for like the last 10 levels?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
12 or
that
13.
could
It's just
be a
because
lot of your problem.
I look around at all the skills and I'm like, well, I'm not really doing that. I don't really need that. That's not applicable here. I don't really need any of that. And then I look at all the technology when I'm like, I guess I could do lock picking. I guess I could do.
I understand what you're saying. Some of them are really compelling, but a lot of the skills aren't necessarily that compelling. But you have to not just look at them, you have to look at the different levels as you go down. It might be level 1 is like, meh, but level 2 or level 3, completely different effects. They don't just add up. They're in a category, but then there's multiple things you can get from them. And then also, once you get enough points in tier 1, that'll open tier 2 and maybe something in tier 2 you like. But I get what you're saying. Like social tier 2 isn't that exciting for me, but then I look at tier 3 or 4, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's some good stuff there.
I recently did the persuade one to level 2 just because there was a conversation I needed to get to pass in order to progress through a quest. So I was just like, go back on a save, pump up persuasion, and then go do that part again, and I got through it. So,
Yeah, that does help. But security is a great one. A bunch of stuff on the far right on the tech tree, a lot of them add up to all kinds of things that'll help with space battles, like Ray's saying. Heck, at least get a couple in your basic tech there, and then get to the second tier where you can start taking payload, which increases your storage capacity by a lot. That's awesome. Or shields. Increasing shields by a lot can be awesome. Like, there's a lot of stuff there.
You can just dump your shit on the floor. Why do you need carrying capacity?
Well, except don't build and do that.
Oh, you're going to lose all your shit on the floor?
No, you'll actually gain it, but it'll all go into storage, That's actually a quick tip, though. If you dump all your cheese sandwiches on the floor of your ship, and you're like, man, I don't want to clean this up. Yeah, pretend company's coming over. Go to the shipbuilder, just do one thing, and I'll go into your closet.
There you go.
Yeah, you won't be able to open the closet to put anything else in, but it'll be off the floor.
All right, so if I do have 12 unspent skill points, and I need to pass a space battle next time I log in, which skill points am I?
Do you want us to tell you? Okay, I don't know if you have your character up right now, but here, I'll tell you what I would do.
I could easily.
I would put at least 2 in piloting. Okay, hopefully you have 1 in piloting already. You better. If you don't, get 1 or 2 in piloting. The problem is you got to kill a couple ships to keep leveling up piloting. So
see, I'm of the opinion that I don't care anything about anything that's happening in space. I just like the running around on the planets doing stuff. A lot of people are like that. Fuck about what's happening up in space.
A lot of people are like that, but you got to have enough to at least be able to handle the space and get back to the planet.
Yeah, every time so far, it's just been like, oh, I'm going to jump away from this, and it's worked every time so far. I'm surprised. This is the first time that I've gotten stuck in you cannot fast travel while in combat. Usually I can just fast travel away and not have to fight anything. But
you will find other missions like that too. A lot of times you can get away, but there's times when you just have to. But the other reason why you want to allocate sooner than later is because of the way these work, that you not only put a skill point in, but then you have to get a certain challenge to get to the next level. So if you don't put a point in piloting sooner than later, then you got to put a point in piloting, get a bunch of, 5 kills, then put another point in piloting. You know what I mean? You can't just do them all at once.
Well, I also know for a fact that there's no fucking way in hell I'll ever get 5 spaceship kills. That's just not going to happen.
Oh, but you will. You will, without a doubt.
We'll see. Well, they're behind me. Okay, now I'm dead.
Once you get a little beefier, get your weapons squared away so that you're doing some serious damage.
Yep.
And it'll all get a lot easier.
Well, you guys,
plus,
there's no VATS, so you have to be able to hit something. I just cannot hit.
Well, there
anything.
is VATS. There is VATS in space.
Is there?
Sort of. Yeah.
Where's that skill?
You automatically
what is that skill
get
point?
targeting. So take that skill because you've got the points. Take targeting.
Targeting. Okay.
Yep.
Piloting and targeting.
It automatically starts you out with basically you can target a ship. You don't have to have the targeting skill necessarily. No.
So if I already have it, then I hate to tell you, I'm not hitting shit. I don't. How do you have to activate it or something or what?
But you have to get that. The ship that you're shooting at needs to be inside your circle.
That's the problem. I never can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it will take practice, Andrew, for sure. And I understand where you're coming from, but you have to kill 3 ships to even leave the tutorial, right? It makes you do that. So you have killed a couple, and you can get more. But yeah, third person, go slow, just move the targeting reticle so it's kind of following the ship. I know it's difficult, but I would say piloting is a good one. Targeting control systems is a good one. If you're not going to grab another, actually, I would just say put it in boost pack training to finish up that tier, get that done. And then on the next one, I would maybe start putting points in shields, and that would make a difference for you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you do boost pack piloting and security.
Yeah.
I think I'm already up to level 2 in security, maybe.
Good.
Oh, then
maybe
then
3.
if you take, and do you have boost pack?
I have the level 1 in boost pack, I think.
Okay, so take piloting. Now you can jump right to tier 2.
Yep.
And take shield systems.
Yep. And that'll make a difference.
And the good thing is that shield systems, you're gonna have this one knocked out, no problem. Because the skill challenge for that is take damage.
So it's like blocking in Skyrim. You have to just get hit a lot. I can do that.
So every time somebody shoots you, they're helping you level up.
Okay.
And
is there anything to make the reticle bigger? You know what I mean? So like easier hitting. Like
no, although if you place your weapons wider, you can feel a little bit like you're covering a little more area.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna and you also don't wait and shoot. Like you don't only shoot when you're on them. You can keep shooting while you're moving. You know what I mean? You can just move around, just keep firing.
Just keep firing.
And the other thing is those PB-30s have a range of 3,000 meters. So you'll barely be able to see the ship. I mean, you'll see the in-game markers for the ship, but you won't actually physically see the ship, and you can shoot it.
Is there any benefit to like coloring your ship black so that you blend in with the background of space or anything like that?
No, that's just aesthetics.
Okay.
You can build a non-hittable ship. That is actually possible right now, though they might get around it. But that's a lot to get into. Essentially, enemies target your ship by finding center mass. So if you make a very lopsided ship, it's not going to find your center mass properly, and they'll miss more than they hit.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
But that's smart, the center mass thing, so they don't actually see you. They do it by calculation or whatever.
I'll have to see how that works with my C-shaped ship. Because there's really no center on it. The center is hollow.
It finds the endpoint. So if it's still symmetrical, it's going to find those endpoints and kind of find the center and then use that to target. So it may hit more than not. But yeah, if the center is completely hollow, it might not. But the person who got really around it did an L-shaped ship with just like a huge beam out to the left and then a big beam up to the top. So it kept thinking the center was to the left and up and would miss the ship a lot.
Nice. Have you guys made any pop culture designer ships yet? I've been seeing lots of pictures on the Twitter and all that about, famous ships from sci-fi TV and movies. Have you guys attempted to build anything that you like from that sort of stuff?
I'm more interested in building
effective,
badass fighter ships.
Nice.
Badass is cool. My friend Rux, one of the builders for UWN, has done a number of those. You might have saw he just did the taxi from Fifth Element.
That's
pretty
fun.
awesome. And he did a version of the Planet Express from Futurama. Not the one that's being shown around by a bunch of people like 5 days ago. He did his own, but it was really, really good. And I'm seeing other pop culture ones. I actually have an idea for one that I want to do. Oh, someone did a TARDIS, which beat me to it. I mean,
I saw that.
Here I am in a room with 4 TARDISes.
Was that a TARDIS or a Borg cube? I couldn't tell.
It was it was supposed to be a TARDIS. I thought it was pretty well done with the white up top and it was more oblong, but I did want to be the first to do a TARDIS. I was a little sad to see that, but
I expected to see
Jerry
him.
posted a picture of a Wienermobile.
I expected to see a million of the next generation ship. Is that not possible?
I've seen a couple I've seen a couple Star Trek inspired ones for sure. And a number of people doing versions of the Serenity, a couple doing with Mass Effect, the Normandy. So yeah, people are doing those ships. I have one in mind that I want to do, but haven't done yet.
Yeah, I've got an idea
badass regular
too. I've got an idea for one too that I haven't seen yet, but also, I would also need to find the skills in order to pull that off as well.
But
so
yeah, I mean, we need to We
So
need to chat
maybe-
through your character off podcast too.
Yeah,
We'll
get
make
you
this
squared
work.
away. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you need a direction and you need focus, and so
Well, my focus
'cause
and
you've gotta
direction
use
is
those.
melee, and I can swipe and kill most everything in 2 or 3 hits, and like that's really quick,
have
and
you
that's
taken
great.
gymnastics?
No, does that boost melee as well?
Yep.
All right, so I'll have to look into that. Anyway, yeah, the battling down on Earth is piece of cake, no problem. I'm taking
Yeah.
stuff like well over my level and handling
And you're
it
finding
just
good
fine.
skills for that, right? With the various weapons and stuff. You are putting points there.
Just I've maxed that out already. The
Yeah,
melee one, and it's actually I was gonna take like the medicine one and all that, but I found that the top level of melee is you get 10% of health regen every time you make a kill. So like every time I kill something, which is only 1 or 2 swings, I'm getting any health that they would have taken away from me back. So I don't really need to take medicine anymore.
What melee weapon are you using now? Did you end up getting one of the UC swords like we talked about, or are you using? I
No,
found like a really cool dagger now.
I still have never seen anything like that, and I've only went to shopping the one time. I'm still, I just this morning got something called the Last Priest, which is a more acquired.
Ooh, a named one?
Yeah, acquired in the end game from a specific character. But I had just been using that one legendary, combat knife or dagger or whatever they found that does 10% extra damage to humans. So I've just been rocking that, and it's been a great little weapon. So I haven't done any major weapon. I haven't needed to do lots of buffs in my character, which is why I really haven't concentrated on it all. But now that I'm at an impasse with this flying mission, I need to start taking my skill points seriously. So
Yeah, just a little. And like some people mentioned, you can practice in the trainer there. Like it's not just for the Vanguard. Like if you want to hop in, the first battle or two are just one low level ship. And that'll make it so you're not quite as desperate and give you a chance to actually practice like moving the thing. And it reminds me of like the last Starfighter movie. You know what I mean? Like learning how to kind of hone in and trust your instincts on that.
what's that called again? Vanguard.
Oh, the UC Vanguard quest line. You had to talk to Commander Tuala with Sarah right near the beginning when you start one of her quests. At the beginning, she goes to talk to him before she goes to the Soul System.
Okay.
But he's right there at the bottom of the mast building.
What's UC again?
The UC Vanguard, that's United Colonies.
United
That's
Colonies.
one of the two, main governmental factions.
Yeah, I also need to pay more attention to stuff. I'm still just kind of flying through everything.
Totally. It's only been
Yeah,
out for a week and a half.
Yeah, and you can go do the. So you talk to him, say you want to join. He sends you to the recruiter, downstairs. You go through the flight simulator. You can go through as many times as you want to. Just get out and get back in. Get out, get back in, and then leave, and never talk to him again.
Will it mimic the ship that I have
No.
access to now, or it's just generalistic?
No, it's just a generic ship.
Okay.
I have to say, our friend Ken of the Ken Pole fame and other such things. So he's been in game as a space trucker. Like he's been enjoying that and talking about how he's kind of RPing it. And he just shared one of his ships, and he is living that space trucker life. I have never seen a ship designed to haul more cargo than this puppy right here. It's awesome. And he talks about how going between systems on long haul, he doesn't do long jumps. He tends to jump to multiple systems, just, so you get the random encounters on the way. It's kind of better for immersion and RP. And sometimes you run into other fellow space truckers and such.
Is that an aspect of the game? Like you just get side missions to earn extra credits while you just deliver from point A to point B and back to point A?
Yeah.
That's what
And
it
some
sounds-
of them can be pretty big deliveries too.
But I
came across one that was like 3,000 kg, or what do they rate them at?
Yeah, they do kilograms for the mass, I think,
Weight
however they rate
units.
them. But they can be
it's
some large
something
ones.
huge. Yeah.
hmm There's a board for everything, whether you're doing bounties, every faction, constellation. The mission boards are a really neat way to get Radiant quests while still getting a ton of other quests in the game.
Yeah. And you can build one of those in your camp too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have. So, hey, do you want to jump on to, can I get into my gameplay for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. What have you been getting into?
So I don't want to belabor it too long because I know we've already done a lot of Starfield, but that is what I've mostly played. So first, actually, wait, hold on. Let me take a look at what I've got happening here. Okay, just going through my quest log on the Pip-Boy.
Got your
and
Starfield
looks
themed Pip-Boy.
Starfield Pip-Boy.
So I got my Sugar Bombs Pip-Boy, and yeah, I love it. It is awesome. It is very bright and colorful. This was the
You
cool
put your
limited edition
phone
one.
in
If
it?
y'all want to see.
Nice.
It's there we go. You can't really see the screen on the camera when it's lit up because of the way
bleeds
it
out,
focuses.
yeah.
You see when I change it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a bunch of little lights and sounds, and it looks beautiful. Sorry, I bumped the mic with it. But yeah, it's
Everybody
gorgeous. I'm
drink.
loving it. And it is kind of like constellation colors. It is Sugar Bombs Pip-Boy, which is actually what my character Ron wore in game, and one of my favorite skins. I like the Slocum Joe's, pink donut one, the sprinkles one, the best. But I really like this one.
I was just
It's
thinking
great.
today, God damn it, I need a Pip-Boy in this game. Like, there's so much to keep track of, and your lighting aspect. Where's my radio station? How could there not be, space trucker radio stations to listen to and stuff? Like, come on.
Do you think the game could benefit from some radio stations? For sure. But
Just
in
date
Fallout
David Bowie
76,
over and
so
over.
I did check in just to do it because, hey, there's still a scoreboard to get some of. And, Meat Week was going away. So I did my last couple Meat Weeks. I do have all the 3 little pigs now. Got all my little piggies and got some dailies done. So I'm still there, but I've really neglected Fallout Hard. Didn't get any Fallout 4 in this week. But we have next week, we're going to be doing our Nuka World stuff, moving on with Shank like we're talking about. And I know last week I was hemming and hawing on how I was going to do it. Nope. I am going to invade the Commonwealth. I'm going to finish the game and I'm going to invade the Commonwealth. So I am going to take on the same character and see what happens with the Minutemen after I do that. See if there's a way to take it back or whatever. But that's next week. So yeah, Fallout 4 didn't do much, and 76 just a little bit of score. I did play a ton of Starfield though.
Woohoo! What'd you get into in Starfield?
Surprise. So, last week we had kind of talked about our initial impressions and all that after that first week. This week I had a few more goals. So highlights. I had played with shipbuilding a little bit before last week's show. Did about 3 hours in it, figuring stuff out. But, it did mostly a modified frontier. So like talking with Ray now, I won't get into all the details, but I did go and spend another 3-4 hours, hung out with a friend who was doing some shipbuilding too on Twitch and kind of talk through it. And I made a cool ship now. Now my main ship is the Violet Capybara. And it's a pretty sweet
nice.
little ship, a lot of upgraded components. She's really fast. And it's funny because I've done 2 waves upgrades. So I did the initial wave of upgrades and did a lot of photos with her and stuff. And I just like it. It's violet and teal and, with some dark gray and a pretty kind of wide design. It's a flat wide design, but very powerful. I had switched to lasers. I was using the Muller autocannon still. I had upped the lasers to a different brand of pulse laser. And then I was using these disruptors that I love so much. Well, then I went through a second wave of updates middle of the week, just a couple days ago. And I swapped out, I got rid of the lasers. And so now I'm just running the autocannons, the heavy cannon still for ballistic, and then my disruptors. And I'm doing 3 and 3. Actually, no, that's not correct. I'm doing 3 cannons and 4 disruptors. And she's a beast. So only 2 weapon categories instead of 3, because like Ray is saying, when you consolidate your weapon categories, it allows you to allocate more power, and you can kind of plan through. The reason I'm doing it that way though with 2 is because these disruptors do burn through and have to recharge. And so during the recharge time, or once I get through shields, I can then use the cannon still. And I like the way it works. Also for breaking up asteroids and stuff like that, the cannons are way more effective for resources.
So which cockpit is that? Is that the Nova Galactic or is it the
Yeah, so the cockpit I'm using, I'm forgetting the exact name of it, but it's the Nova Galactic that you get through New Homestead, which is on Titan, one of the
okay,
moons
so
of
it's the one
Saturn.
with stairs?
Yes, it's got a cool design. So it's got 2 floors, and you can get in from the center bottom and then go upstairs onto the cockpit, or you can go across. And so I've got it. So I'm essentially coming from the hab across and not on the stairs. But as soon as I can get a cockpit that flip around reverse,
Put my thing down, flip it and reverse it.
because I want it to be rear entry. I want to be able to enter from behind and go in up to the hab there, and then I'll be able to go into the cockpit right from the back, because rear entry, you get in at the back of it instead of having to climb up like you do in the other. So, but I don't have one of those reverse cockpits yet. So yeah, I'm super psyched about that. That's going to be fun. So that's my ship goals and what I've done so far. I did also, with the parent, we've talked about the parents and then the kid stuff trait. They do over time give you stuff and it levels up. One thing you get at a certain point, if you stick with them, is a ship. So yeah, I won't go all the details, but I got a ship from that trait, and I went and I kind of refined that into a pretty slick fighter. I have to watch my credits though. I'm not super credit rich because I do spend some too playing with shipbuilding and stuff like that. That costs money, and ammo and resources. I do some buying, so I didn't do the full upgrade. But this is when I first got my Pilot B, so I was like going all out, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, and no, it was too much to afford. So I only did half the upgrades, put the rest of the money in the capybara, but I got a plan on how I'm doing that one in the end. So that's shipbuilding. As far as quests, I won't get too deep into the story stuff, but I am still, despite my saying I was going to do more main quests, I realized that I'm just not. I was telling Jerry and some other friends, I'm probably one of the only people who has got, at this point, my main save is, I think, 80 some hours, 85, 86. I haven't been to Tequila City. I haven't been to Neon. I have not yet been to 2 out of 4 of the major cities. And I know that sounds weird, because following the main quests and doing Sam Co., you're going to go to Tequila City, but I haven't yet. And then, of course, after that, you're going to go to Neon on the story quests. So for story quests, I did the first couple. I have rescued Barrett. I got him. I did get Andrasia this week, so I've gotten a couple of the main ones in that set of 3. It's just the last one that I haven't done yet. But I get so distracted by side quests. I've done what is it? I've done like 22 quests and 41 activities. But looking at my 22 or 23 quests, it's like 18 side and 4 main, and then the activities are all kinds of little things. It's so I am doing a lot of that. But the other big thing I did this week, after I got Barrett and got him assigned and made my ship super effective, I decided to get into outposts. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to do more shipbuilding, I need more stuff. If I need stuff, I need credits. So let's try working with outposts, see how that goes, and start to build up some resources and start to build up some money, because with resources, if you make enough and you set up a bit of a farm, you can then use stuff you create and sell it to get money. Okay, so I'm like, I'm going to do this. And I ended up going to a planet, Nisoi. And I might have mentioned it last week because I might have just discovered it last week. I'm not sure. But Nisoi in the Olympus system. So I like the Olympus system because it's pretty centrally located for a lot of the map. And Nisoi was a really cool temperate planet with a lot of cool resources. So I landed and ended up trying to work on a base. Well, I ended up 100%ing that planet, getting all the fauna, all the flora, all the resources. And I had 3 bases there. So my first base, I was able to get iron and a couple other elements. Next one, I was able to get a couple more elements. And the final one, I wanted to be on the beach, because it's sandy beach on the coast here on this planet. It's just gorgeous. So, but I had to find the right spot with the resources. So I've got 3 outposts there, and I figured out how to not just set up outposts, but link them with cargo links. So all of your materials are flowing from one to the other, and then into storage. And then in order to get aluminum, because aluminum is super important for everything, I actually did another moon in the system, set up a cargo link from that moon to the planet with 3. And then I needed copper. So I did that on another planet in the system. So now I've got 5 outposts in this one system. Is it 5 now? Yeah, I think it's 5 in this one system. 3 on one planet, the other 2 on other locations, linked and sharing resources and all piling together in a system of cargo. And it's like a web of power generators and and wires and outputs and inputs. And it's a little bit complicated. And also, Starfield, as much as it's been running very bug free for me, I started getting my first crashes playing with the Outpost system and my first bugs.
Oh no.
I was maybe trying to get a little complicated. And also, I mean, the game's not, sure how it's doing some things yet. And I wasn't sure how it's doing some things yet. So I tried making some rookie mistakes. And I had it lock up and crash a few times in the Outpost system. Ultimately, one of my outposts isn't even on the map anymore. So, like, if I go to the landing zone, because when you land on a planet in a random location, you get a landing area. Okay, and you can land there. But then when you set up an outpost, you get an icon for the outpost. So you've got a landing area, and then you've got an outpost nearby, two separate icons. Well, if I go to landing area, my outpost is still there, but there's no icon for the outpost. But what I didn't know when I picked this awesome favorite planet, I'm like, this beautiful undiscovered gem, the coolest planet that I found. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about this planet. Oh my God, I love it. And, I'm getting ready to share pictures and this and that. And then I find out that this is actually, if you get the dream home trait, this is the planet where your home is going to be set. You're going to get a home on this planet. So plenty of people have seen the planet. It's not just me. but I didn't know. And it is a great planet. Like, I highly recommend Nisoi if you don't have the dream home planet. But there's also some other, most planets, at least livable planets, have locations on them already. Like, you've got the different research facilities and bases and stuff like that. Yes, the ones that are found that are randomly generated, but also the ones that show on the planet before you even land. And most of those have something happening there. It might be a quest. It might be something cool. Like, keep in mind, as procedurally generated as things are when you land, there's a lot of handmade content. And the majority of things you can see from space when you look at a planet, and most planets have one or two, those are, crafted areas. Like, stuff that'll spawn around them is randomly generated, but there's something at the location. So there was a cool quest line that I found on this planet too, dealing with some families and list. I won't get too deep into it, but I will say it's probably my fave side quest line I've done so far. It's almost all space battles, so you would not like that, Andrew.
Nope.
But it's got multi-part space battles all over the system, and then you're grouping with a group of settlers and connecting them, and then you're going to take on some spacers and all that. So that was a ton of fun. I highly recommend, if you get a hail in the Olympus system from someone looking with a distress call, maybe follow up on it, and you might have a cool quest. And I also finally got the secret outpost for the Mantis quest from this quest line.
So they're for something other than shooting?
Yes, they are. No, it was a really good time.
Oh, crud. I'll have to check that out.
I also want to mention all the exploration. Another fun quest line that I got. I saw Naomi from The Expanse. So, I mean, I don't know that she is, but Ray, have you seen the quest line with Lucky Boots yet? Is that something you come across?
No. Mm-mm.
So I won't do any spoilers, but
That's the girl that's inside? She's in one of the shops. Where's that at?
no,
She's talking to one of the vendors,
exactly.
complaining she wants a refund on these boots.
So you have seen it. Yeah. Doesn't she look like Naomi? I mean, I saw her. I'm like, she has the same hair and everything.
It's one of the presets.
Mhm.
One of the presets is that look.
Oh, that's a pure preset. I didn't realize.
Yeah, it looks like
Seeing her
So
from the
the-
side like that with that hair and stuff like that, because looking at the presets, I didn't really notice. But yeah, now that you say it, that makes sense. Anyway, it was hilarious. I'm like, wow, that's totally a call out to The Expanse.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they're all there
mhm.
in the presets.
Yeah, well, I saw what's his name? Not Owen.
Amos.
Yes, Amos, exactly. So Amos and her for sure. Amos, I definitely like. He looks so much like Amos. But some of the others are in there too. You think?
Yeah.
I guess I
and
didn't
I don't
realize.
know how much tweaking they had. I think they just gave him facial hair and changed his hair to black. But Holden, the
Main character there.
Yeah, he's in there. And then the Martian character, I've made a couple of characters with that look.
It's funny. I guess I hadn't thought about it, but I'll have to go through the presets with that in mind specifically and see if I see the others. But Amos jumped out at me, even as someone who hasn't watched The Expanse in 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He jumped out at me when I saw him there. I'm like, oh my God, that's totally him.
Yeah, that's my pirate character.
So anyway, there are a bunch of side quests I've done. I've no spoilers. I just want to mention the boots one made me laugh, and that character might even know me.
Okay.
I actually, so trying to get the story done, like I'm trying to get deeper in the story. I keep trying, but there are other things that need done. So I was working on Into the Unknown. That's the quest, multiple parts with Andrasia. And I got Sarah's affinity to the point where she likes me enough that I had to do Sarah's character quest. So Sarah is one of the 4 romanceable companions and, one of the main companions of Constellation. And yeah, once you get to the point with a companion where they want to do their ally or special mission, you talk to them through it, you accept it, and now they're your permanent companion again until you finish that mission. So like on the very first mission, going to the Sol system and the Nova Galactic shipyard and stuff like that, where she came with you, it's like that again. So, and she keeps asking about it. So I had to do that. So I had to stop in the middle story mission to do hers. And let me tell you, hers has some tough enemies. If you're going to do this quest for her, it's excellent. There's a great storyline. I really enjoyed it. And at the end, if you're in a romance, you might, get more attached if that's the way you're going. If you're not in a romance, you just declare your great friendship and all that. But yeah, difficult enemies. So if you start doing her stuff, be prepared. I died a bit. I died like I was in Fallout 4 survival mode. That is pretty much it, though. Those are my quests. I didn't finish Into the Unknown. I did get Andrasia. I did, get to one of the big secret parts that happens around that quest line when you finish it, or that part of that quest when you finish it, and it's super cool.
I've been to Neon. What's Tequila City?
It's the head of the Freestar Collective.
Yeah, Aquila City.
Well, they call it Aquila, but it's Tequila City. It's all in the west. They're there doing their shots.
That sounds more familiar. Neon reminds me of, if you've seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, where they make their base inside of that ancient Celestial's head after they've exploded it. They have a town, basically, for the Guardians of the Galaxy. That reminds me a lot of Neon.
Is that in the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
I think it made the tail end of the second and the third. The third takes the Christmas special is all in that area too. It's very cool.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I just haven't been. It's silly because I put in so much time and I keep meaning to, but I've hit I think 16 or 17 systems right now. You get an achievement when you hit 20 systems. So I'll hit 20 systems soon. I'm at like 16 or 17. There are just so many side quests. And
you mentioned that you connected all of your bases so you can share resources between. In Fallout 4, that's represented by not purveyors, but
supply lines.
How was that? Like, do you assign someone to that? Is there a robot who does that? Is that just magically happening?
They're cargo ships. They are cargo ships. You put down a cargo link in one base, you put down a cargo link in the other, and then you tell them to connect. And then they will share resources back and forth. Or you can set it up so that it only goes one way. Mm-hmm. The way you would do that is by putting down storage. So whatever you are, every cargo link has an input and output. So whatever you assign into the input is going to be loaded on the ship to go to the other base. So if you only do an input on one and you don't do an input on the other, or you have everything going out, then you won't share back and forth totally.
Okay.
But yeah, it's essentially unmanned cargo ships.
Yeah, because the goal is to have stuff sent to a central main location, right?
That's how I'm doing it. There are people who do it a couple of ways. And I do think if you can find one or two bases with everything you need, that might be better than setting up your outpost empire like I'm doing. But, because there are more moving parts. And like I said, I have crashed a few times. Although, I will say the update 2 days ago, it fixed a couple of things that seem to be happening in my system. So, yeah, but that is the goal.
You can have up to 8, right?
Yeah, until you get your, you start leveling up the outpost management perk, you can get up to 8. After that, you can get 12, and then I think 16.
Okay.
So yeah, you can get even more. But it starts at 8. And yeah, so I have them central. The problem is, in order to set them up, you kind of have to do more of a spoke hub, like from one to a central, one to a central, one to a central. But that means a whole lot of cargo ships landing in your central. So the way I did it is more like I have a spoke hub that then the output from that spoke hub goes to one that just goes to my main settlement with one. So it's like it's being consolidated in my hub consolidation center that I don't go to. And then from there, that goes to my beachfront resort. Because who wants a beachfront resort main outpost with a bunch of ships landing all the
you
time,
don't-
all that noise.
You don't want a high
Yeah,
traffic
you
area.
want it to be a secluded getaway.
This Ray understands. Thank you,
Indeed.
Ray. So I have just the one that's linked to the hub that is a mess. The one that has like 4 cargo ships is also the one that disappeared on me because the Starfield is mad at me for having so many cargo ships in
much
one place,
traffic.
hooking to a bunch of different outposts. It's,
And I think, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but so I landed on a nice planet that had a beach with in a tropical setting.
yes,
In a
nice.
tropical biome. So, there's all the palm trees and all that, but there wasn't squat for resources until you went inland.
Resources are almost never against the coast.
Yeah.
And when you map them, you'll see that there's kind of a buffer zone. So when you're picking your location to land on the map, you click down on the map while you're scanning, it'll tell you what the biome is. So it might say, it might say savanna, it might say mountains, it might say swamp, it might say deciduous forest. Okay. But if you're on the coast and you click right near the water, if it's actually a real coastal square, it'll say deciduous forest, parentheses, coast, or sandy desert, parentheses, coast. And that's how you know that if you land in that section, that you're going to get some coast there. But there's a buffer zone on everyone. So that's another reason why my game started getting a little weird, I think, on the one planet, because probably landed 10 to 12 times till I found a place that I could get resources close enough to the beach to be able to actually have a cabin on the beach. It's still not right up to the edge, but it's really close. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you never really want to be right on the beach, because you never, you've got tidal
Rising tide.
swells and, and
I got to show you guys pictures. It's coming along nicely. It's pretty sweet. I'm using the I forget what the habs are called, but the more we'll call them greenhouse habs anyway. And you can see through them, and they're just beautiful. But of course, the bedroom habs are enclosed with windows. Also, the way you make windows in this, when you put down your hab units, if you click on any wall, like you look at a wall in build mode, and you click on it, it'll say change. And it's like blue. You'll make it, why is it lighting blue? Well, that's because if you click your D-pad to change, it'll swap to a door. It'll swap to a window. Like you can actually swap like that on the habs. And so instead of being boxes, put windows on them. You can also build, like we were talking about, your mission boards there. So you can do a bounty clearance board, a constellation mission board, and a regular general outpost mission board. Like there's so much you can do with outposts. I think they are a pretty useful thing, but you can keep it minimal. You don't need to make an empire. Find a great location that gets you iron and aluminum, or iron and copper, and call it a day. Buy some resources until you're deeper in the game and you're ready to do it, because it is not as user-friendly as the camp and settlement system in 4. You know what I mean? It's not as user-friendly as 76 or 4. It's a bit more finicky, which is too bad. A lot more prefabs. You have to level stuff up to be able to do much. And it's cool, but
I need to work
streamlined.
on the weapons bench and spacesuit bench stuff. Figure all that stuff out.
yeah, well, that stuff is great. And I mean, you can put them in. So I do have all those in my outpost now. But of course, the location and constellation is fine. You know what I mean? You can do pretty much everything you need in the basement at Constellation for all your stuff. And I've always
Except
got.
who wants to hang out there? Those people are weird.
I like them and I like it. But yeah, all my stuff is very upgraded. Oh, I did, of course. So I did do the whole get the Gen 1 spacesuit, the one that you can kind of sneak through the case that's downstairs, the Constellation. And I'm like, I didn't have Master Lock to pick it yet, which, I was going to since I got Master Lock, but then I heard about this. So I'm about to unlock the Master Level Lock, so I'd be able to get it anyway. But I got it, and it really is an awesome set. Like, it looks good, it fits nicely, and it's a little bit more powerful defense-wise for, all the different types of damage. But I actually swapped out for a Michelin Man looking suit. So I got this spacesuit that dropped that I'm not a big fan of. I think it's like a deep seeker. It's just something, it's wicked thick. Like, it's so friggin' bulky, but it dropped and it's gold. It's a legendary, and legendary perks, weapons weigh 50% less. Every weapon, not just my weapons, any weapons I'm picking up to junk and sell, 50% less. Okay, I'm right there, weight management. Then it's sentinels. So if you stand still, 75% chance to negate 50% of incoming damage. What? I think it's just melee damage, but still, that's huge. And then The last thing is their equivalent of bloodied, where up to 100 extra damage resistance when you're low health.
Yeah.
Like 3 amazing skills. So even though it's 40 or 50 damage less in every category than this cool Gen 1 suit you can get, when I take any damage, it actually ends up being more, plus all the extra stuff. So yeah, my girl's wearing the bulkiest suit in the world right now.
They are the ugliest things, but hey, first person.
Yep, exactly. First person. I mean, I use photo mode too much, but yeah. But there are some really sexy suits in this game. Like some of them are great. This one is not. I am very unimpressed with it. Speaking of sexy and beaches, Paradiso, the pleasure planet, it does exist. I see
Bathing suits.
Lee saying, I have yet to see a beach, but I haven't looked either. Hey, if you find Paradiso, you'll eventually get a quest to go there. I think it's in the Parima system. There are a couple reasons why you might want to go there, but yeah. So that is my gameplay. A whole lot of Starfield, and I didn't want to talk about it too long, you guys. Sorry. And a little bit of Fallout.
If you build a little base, settlement, camp, whatever, can you make a little rover vehicle?
No. You can
Okay.
make robots and watch them roll around, but not you.
Because some of the, like when I'm exploring, some things are like 2,000 meters away and it takes a few minutes to get to it. Just like, man, I'd really like a little space motorbike or something to run around planets.
Yeah,
on.
you got to run on foot. I mean, the problem is if you're over encumbered too, then you got to stop and slow down and go half speed. Don't play over encumbered, y'all. Just don't. Upgrade your cargo, scrap things, sell things, keep resources only. If you get yourself a base, just drop a lot of your stuff in your base.
Yeah. Yeah. And you only have to be 250 meters away from your ship and you can transfer stuff
Yeah, that's helpful too.
in. So get within 250 meters of your ship and then click on your menu, open up the ship section, and you'll see the cargo you'll have access to.
Yeah.
You can put stuff in or take something out if you got out wandering and found that there's some dangerous creeping caterpillar that you need a Beastmaster gun to take care of. Then if you've got one in your ship, you can pull it out of your inventory and go shoot the caterpillar.
There are some scary creatures. But yeah, you can use your jetpack. And when you're on a low grav planet, Andrew, it is really fun to just kind of jump and bounce around. Use that jetpack a lot and just kind of get where you want to go.
I've been on a few moons that are like when you're on a team of 4 and 76 and everyone's boosting each other and your marsupial is just going
Yeah,
nuts.
living in a
It's
bounce
just
house,
like,
basically. Yeah. And it's
I forgot
funny.
what it was. I took a perk. It might have been the gymnastic perk.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it is. It's gymnastics. So the way that you level up the first level of gymnastics is to take 100 fall damage. You just look for something tall and jump off. Just
Yeah,
not too tall because you don't want to break.
you'll
a leg.
die, right?
I'm really good at taking fall damage, so that'll be easy enough. Kill 5 enemies in 0G is the second category. Oh, you guys, there is a place outside the planet I'm talking about too, Nisoi, called the Almagest. And I'm like, what is this cool derelict looking space station? I won't spoil it, but it's cool. It's cool. Just saying.
Yeah, I came across a stranded ship.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a spacer ship. I shot it, and this ship didn't do anything. So I went ahead and boarded it, and it had some interesting stuff going on inside of it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So check that out. If you see a stranded ship somewhere, try to board it.
There's so many little things, so many named NPCs that might have missions, and if they don't now, they might in the future. Like, it is much larger than people realize. And people getting in there who just do the main quest or get through it in, 30, 40 hours and, to get to the end. Like I said, I'm 80 some hours at least. I mean, my total play time I think shows it over 100, but like on my save, the actual, because resetting, going back, having started the second character originally, it's a little higher. But yeah, the question you're asking about, Andrew, it might be a little spoilery this week.
Okay.
Maybe we can do it next week.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I think that's it for me. uh, this edition of the Starfeed.
The Star Out feed.
I'm pretty sure I'm at 8 characters now.
Oh, good Lord, Ray. And you're 170 some hours, you said already?
Yeah, the highest one is level 25.
That's my one character, is level 25. Oh. But you're probably playing on more difficult levels, so you therefore level up more quickly, get more XP per action, etc., right?
So, I think last week I talked about the alleged technique of raising your skill level or your hardness level to very hard, and then jumping into a new solar system that you haven't been into, to set all the containers in that space to the higher level.
Oh,
And then, lowering your level back down, and, playing like you normally do.
mm-hmm.
But you have to remember to save after you save, switch back, because
When you
I was
load
trying to
in
figure
again.
out why I'm just getting my ass handed to me. And it's because I had died, and it went back on the save that had the higher difficulty,
Oh, goodness gracious.
and so it was perpetuating the higher difficulty.
So what does that do for you? When you do that, you're basically creating enemies at higher levels or locations at higher levels?
Loot?
The loot. Okay.
All the loot for that system is set when you fly into the. This is
The
what
space loot, not the planetary loot, because you got to
No,
land on a planet for
planetary
that to
loot.
affect.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, because
Well,
planet levels are kind of preset, but I guess like the quality of loot, interesting.
but it didn't work for me.
Okay. Long story short, it didn't work for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But it did manage to ratchet me up to a high difficulty and get my ass handed to me.
Feels good sometimes. After survival mode, we need it. Game is spanking me hard. Yeah.
Is there a survival mode in Starfield? I haven't even looked at the different levels.
There probably will
dropped mine down to
be,
easiest.
right? Like it
Yeah.
came to 4 later, came to Skyrim later. I bet it'll come to Starfield. As long as I don't have to manage my fuel.
Oh,
'cause
Lord. Yeah.
No way. No.
Create fuel,
I would stop and fill
refine
up.
it, stop and fill, put
Oh,
gas stations everywhere.
So I did see that if you build a settlement and put a helium extractor in it and storage, if you use that as a jump point, in a long string of
You can jump further.
settlements, you can jump further.
That is nice. So yeah, people,
because it automatically refills your tank
when you're in the system with
when
your
you're
helium
in the-
3.
Yeah, when you're in the system with the helium-3 extractor.
Get another good reason to have Olympus like I do, because I do have helium-3 extractors set up for sure.
Yep.
Fuel's a system they only partially implemented, which is good, because once again, it wouldn't be fun to maintain. But people are like, well, wait, why would I want larger fuel tanks on my ship if I can just jump anyway? Well, because this way you can do multiple jumps without stopping in between. So if you're in one system, you want to jump to one, and it says number of jumps 2, it's going to calculate the fuel for both of those jumps. And you can only do those 2 jumps without stopping if your fuel would cover that distance.
And so one little trick I learned. So on one of my non-pirate characters, in order to get to the planet there, to the system that I wanted to, I had to fly through the Crick system, which is the pirate system. And as soon as you enter that system, you are right at the pirate base.
Oh,
And
really?
There's pirate ships everywhere, and they immediately attack you. So if you have to fly through cricks and you're not a pirate, take all of your weapons power out and put it all in your grav drive. Because if your grav drive is completely filled up, completely fueled up, when you enter the system and immediately go into the menu to jump, it cuts the time that it takes to spin up your grav drive
Mhm.
to just a few seconds. And
Oh,
so you
nice.
immediately go into jump instead of the 7 or 8 seconds that it normally takes if you only have one bar in your grav drive.
Yeah, I usually add 2 or 3, and it does. It takes 5 or 6 seconds usually for me.
So normally you don't really care. You're reading Discord posts or checking your email while that grav drive is spinning up. But in that crick system where you need to get the hell out of there immediately because they will toast you, even if you have a good ship. There's so many pirates there, so you want that less than 1 second spin up time, so that you can get out of dodge quick. Because they killed me multiple times during that that grab drive animation, until I figured out that I just needed to go ahead and give it max power.
I see you workshopping names, Andrew. Star Outfeed? Yeah, that one works. We're all Spacelanders now. Exactly. That's why I was joking back last Christmas at changing the U Wastelanders channel to U Spacelanders. And I see that Silly Ward's been using that too, Spacelanders. It's great.
That's us now. It's the world we live in.
Yeah. But so, I mean, thankfully, it certainly, it wasn't likely, but it could have been, that we played Starfield for a couple of weeks and we're done with it.
Yeah, it's very much not that, is it?
Nope, very much not that.
It's such a Bethesda-ass Bethesda game. I know it's not for everybody, but it appeals to so many of the things we love about these games, and I said to somebody last week that if it's not their best game, which, I mean, it's probably not, but I think it will be. Like, if it's not their best game, it will be once they get the DLC and tweaks. And I mean, we love them all. They're all different, but it has potential to be their best game for sure. Oh, especially once you get mods and everything.
Yeah, boy, the mods that I'm using, I'm only using 3 mods.
Yep.
But they make a huge difference.
They're looking
that
at
inventory mod is just
official mod integration early next year. So that's when it should be coming to console and PC, the official, however they implement them on this one, creations, however they're vetted. If it's like you get a certain amount of space, like in Skyrim, hopefully more space than less, hopefully more space than Fallout for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have said it's coming and they have said early next year for the official tools. Until then, PC people get, everything you're getting already. You already have UI mods and all the good stuff.
It was kind of funny. So I had just been in a situation where I had traveled into a new system, and so it gave me the nice little announcement that told me the name and all that kind of stuff across the middle of the screen, and behind that was a pirate that was shooting me, but I couldn't see him because of the graphic in the middle of the screen.
Oh no.
And so not, 10 minutes later, I see, about this mod that drops it down to the lower third. And so the XP and the planet announcements all happen at the bottom of the screen now instead of the middle.
Very nice. I do see them more easily in the middle, but yeah, I mean, at least off to the side, like in some of the other games.
Yeah. So
So, Andrew, what have you been playing besides all the Starfield we're talking?
Well, I've been, still pretty deep into my survival vault on Fallout Shelter. Been getting sloppy though. I've, been going out on quests and stuff, and then something happens, so I'll just set my phone down and walk away. I come back and a dweller has died. I'm like, God damn it! So I need to be more, fastidious about closing the app before, because death claws came through, and I killed a couple of people the other day, and I got 2 people killed on one quest today. I'm like, God damn it! So I just need to be pay a little more attention when I'm playing, instead of watching the movie on the side, or just setting down and going to get a drink in the kitchen and coming back and oh, shouldn't have done that then. But I did get an objective to modify 5 or 6 dwellers or something like that in a barbershop. So I built a barbershop, and I've got a little podcast section set up with Ray, Jess, and Andrew down there. I built Mo, and he's got some cat ears on him, and Tori. So I've got my little family and my podcast family all together in the vault, and I'll start editing people and all that. I think this is going to be a
am I still in my gold pajamas?
You are in your pajamas. And Ray, this is one of the greatest things I didn't realize this. But with the space update that they added, where aliens can now attack and you can get the little alien drone as a pet, they've also added a few new weapons. They added the alien disintegrator and a pistol, and also a ripper. And I was like, whoa, that's perfect. So I gave Ray
nice.
I gave you a ripper, and you're in your pajamas and everything. So I figured that was really appropriate. So that's what I've been doing in Shelter. I'm playing a little bit of that every day. Try to do a couple of quests before I go to bed every night. But the barbershop was the big addition this week. But yeah, Starfield shipbuilding, been struggling with that. I need to give it a real good go. I think when you guys were talking about Twitch, I think that might be a good way for me to get on and do it, and just have people boss me around and tell me what to do. That's probably,
I know that's fun for everybody. That is a good time.
Probably a good way for me to learn how to do that, because I've made 2 really hard attempts where I just sat there for an hour and it just still makes no sense to me. So I need to just sit down and do it.
Yeah.
I also need to quit fast traveling everywhere, because I realized that without quest markers, I don't know how to get from the train to the base. Where Constellation, I forget what the Constellation base is called, but I don't know the lodge. I don't know how to get from the lodge to the train station to the other parts of town and stuff. So I need to quit, just traveling into the lodge directly, because I was needing to go to my ship, and I'm like, fuck, how do I get from the lodge to my ship? That's in the shipyard, so I need to go to
You can still just fast travel. Yeah, down to the spaceport. You could at least fast travel section to section.
But I was just like, I want to run to it.
Take the train.
I don't know how. No, but then I was like, okay, I'll take the train.
But how do you get to the train?
Where the fuck's the train station? So I'm like, it's only over the hill and tucked around the corner. It's not very far away. But if I can't see it, I'm like, well, shit. No. So I ended up fast traveling and everything. But
also, security doesn't get mad if you walk through the bushes.
Oh, good.
No, they don't mind at all. There's no get off my lawn.
And Ray, you're right. When you swim, your head can't go underwater. That's really weird.
You make all the noise.
At least you won't
also
drown,
in the
right?
ocean, I saw there's fishes.
There's fish, but you can't swim down and get them.
But you can't go down and get them.
No, I have identified some cool fishy animals on planets too, getting all the fauna.
Nice.
But
and like I mentioned before, I'm at an impasse with a space battle that I need something to change my ineptitude to, because I'm where I'm positioned right now, I have zero hope of actually progressing through this quest. So I need to up my ship and my skills. So I'll probably go to that simulator and practice a little bit. You mentioned that at UC Vanguard. Where is that in relation to like the lodge and stuff?
Yeah, so from the lodge, you're going to exit the building. You're going to go straight ahead for a little bit into the trees, and then you're going to hook a left towards the huge, big, tall mast building. That's the largest building in New Atlantis in the middle.
Oh,
I
just ran by that building.
It's got the arches. And if you go down from there, that's how you get to the train. The train is underneath there. But usually you're just going to want to go straight across into the building, and he'll be past the receptionist on the left side on the first floor.
So I need to track that down, do the flight simulator thing. Do all that.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot there. I mean, it is fun. Everything is connected except for the spaceport. Technically, you can get there, but you have to jump because the spaceport and where your ship is lower than the rest of the city. Okay. So the other 3-4 sections are all right there, and but you got to take an elevator down to the spaceport or to the well, or take the train.
You think the spaceport would be on a higher section of the?
Yeah, it's actually out and away from the city, past the waterfalls. So that's why it's not.
Yep. Let's see. As far as 76 goes, I have used a couple of boosters. I waited until later on Tuesday evening before I used it as score booster. Then I, did my dailies and all my weeklies and the next day's dailies earlier in the day. So I got, the day and a half of benefit from the booster. So that was nice. I'm in the low 70s now. I think 72 score. So hopefully here in the next couple weeks, go on Scorecation, and I can finally figure out this shipbuilding stuff in Starfield.
Well, Ray or I too. Maybe we should do something on Twitch, and we can get in there and share a little. And if people want to hop in and ask questions, they can do that too.
Yeah, that'd be smart. But yeah, other than that, this weekend I'll probably need to do my Shank quests for Fallout 4 Survival Roundtable. That's probably going to be my big plan this weekend. But
it's the big thing. You and Silly are both around level 70. You said you were 72?
Yeah, somewhere around there, 71, 72.
He's currently 70. I am a big 24.
Woo!
That's just doing weeklies though. 3 weeks where I've just done the weeklies and dailies.
Nice.
And I say dailies, like one day of weeklies and dailies.
I wanted to not do my weeklies last week until Monday night, and then, use a booster, then do the Monday night, and then the Tuesday reset all, within. I just couldn't hold off. You know what I mean? Like I did those.
That makes sense. Clint and Charlene are at 78. They're getting it done too.
Yeah, they are. Nice. Good job, guys.
Like last season, it's a little bit faster. This new method of leveling up, or ranking up, I should say, on the scoreboard is a little faster than the old. Between the re-rolls and the boosts and the different types of challenges we've had now this is our third season with the new types of challenges. I'm liking them. It's easier, and this season should be long, as we know it's probably going into December. So plenty of time, my dear. Plenty of time.
And my re-rolls, I'm not just doing the 2 free ones because I've banked like 30 or 40 premium re-rolls as well. So I am also not just stopping when I get one that I think is easy. I'm re-rolling until it stops on epic. So I just get a few extra points each time for that as well. So yep, that's basically my Fallout and Starfield play for this week. But we do have a little bit of feedback to get into, you guys. You want to roll off into that?
Yeah, let's hear people's Starfield feedback.
Let's do it.
We make feedback.
Hello, fellow Wastelanders. Eric, aka Sulior here, and here is part 2 of my wrap-up with Nuka World. So, we did the Kitty Kingdom, Bottling Plant, and Safari Zone in the last entry. I wish I would have gone more into Oswald's story, because that is really heartbreaking. You guys mentioned that on the show, but I wish I hadn't omitted that. But it's probably good considering it was already 15 minutes long. So anyway, after that, you head to Dry Rock Gulch, talk to the sheriff. He wants you to help the other Protectrons, and they have little quote-unquote fun tasks to do for a piece of code that gets you into the mine ride. So I could have used speech checks to bypass all that and just went on my way, but I figured I'd have some fun with it. So there's one where you get a giddy-up buttercup and put it in a pen. There's another one where you have a shootout with a one of the Protectrons, kind of a high noon deal, and he gives you a specific revolver for it in one shot, and he's like, nice shooting, partner. The other one is you serve Nuka Cola to 3 different people who just happen to be dead. So really, really easy, not a big deal. The bloodworms were no problem for me, regardless of whether it was with my Righteous Authority Tesla rifle or a katana. But when I played along with the Protectrons, it was really funny hearing Courtney Taylor put on a hick accent. That was hilarious. Or Western accent. That was great. That was probably my favorite part of that whole thing. So then you get to the key. You get the key to the minecart, and you have to clear out all the bloodworms from there. You get the key from the area where the ants were, both normal and flying. I think I lost dog meat during that part without realizing it, or at least I thought I did. But again, it wasn't too difficult. I remember it being a bitch when I played in normal for whatever reason. So yeah, it wasn't a problem at all. Went through the mine, cleared it all out, or it said I cleared it all out until I walked up to dead Brahmin, and then like 3 or 4 pop out of there. It happened multiple times. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal. So I made my way back, and you talked to the sheriff one last time, and that's it. I assigned it to the disciples. And I was like, okay, I have no idea where the fuck Dogmeat is. So go back to the Commonwealth and make it all the way to the Red Rocket before he popped up again. And he wasn't lost after all. What the hell? So now for the Galactic Zone. Oh my god. The Galactic Zone was just as bad for me, if not worse, than the bottling plant. All of those robots and the laser turrets. The laser turrets were the absolute worst. They would shred my power armor. Even though I was wearing Tesla parts and some Overboss parts, I swapped out some of the BOS parts for the Overboss parts to see if that would help. I'm not sure if it did or not. But the Nuka Protectrons that shot the explosive quantum at you, oh my god, that was really bad. So I would go up and I would take it out with my katana, and then it would explode on me, which would then in turn take out my legs. So I would be over encumbered. And this was all just outside of the different parts. But yeah, that was really bad. So I went through the theater first, and then immediately there was a sentry bot. And after 2 or 3 tries of being killed by the turrets, I just rushed the sentry bot and took it out with my katana before I could react. That seemed to be the best tactic with a lot of things, except for those ones that would explode on you. But anyway, I ran into Harvey the Raider at one point from the train station after going back and resupplying my my stim packs and everything, and he was like, "Hey, no hard feelings for drawing you in here, right?" He then pledged his loyalty to me. I guess he was blackmailed into doing it. So I did get that story. So I went back to the Galactic Zone after that and did the Battle Zone, which was basically a gauntlet with iBots, Protectrons, and Assaultrons, and then a Sentry Bot. Ran out of stim packs again because Dogmeat kept going down, and I kept reviving him over and over and over again. So healed him, and then there was the last zone with the indoor roller coaster. That was the most challenging for me because there were so many different robots and turrets. again, there were the laser turrets that were the absolute worst. There were several sets of them that were in clusters of like 3 or 4. That made it really difficult because you basically had to hide behind cover, otherwise you would be dead in a few seconds. But slowly but surely, I made my way through there. I really wish that there had been map markers to tell you where the hell the star cores were, but it was fine. I made it through eventually, and so I assigned it to the disciples once again. I really think I'm pretty sure I assigned the disciples all the different areas of the park. So this is where Gage tells me he wants to start taking out the Commonwealth. I really don't want to do this, but we'll see. So he sends me to talk to Shank. By the way, I started Nuka World. I think I was only level like 50, 49, 50, 51, somewhere around there. I'm now level 57, so I've gained several levels doing this. I really wish that I had taken Idiot Savant toward the beginning, because maybe I'd be up in the hundreds with all you guys. Well, most of you guys. So, yeah, I will say that I have gone to the Commonwealth. I'm back in the Commonwealth, and I did overtake Starlight Drive-In. Now, I didn't realize that agreeing to do this, all of your purveyors that you've set up are no longer active. So I couldn't fast travel from Sunshine Tidings Co-op to Starlight Drive-In, because I decided to go with the Starlight Drive-In first. I really should be saving this for a possible part 3, but I just wanted to say that
this is good to know. Thank you.
I remember the last time I did this, I had to get the settlement's happiness up to 100% before he would even allow me to go take other ones over. And I don't know if I ever actually did that, because I just got fed up and quit. So I don't know if I'm going to do that with this or not. I will keep you guys posted. But if I don't, I did want to say that I have absolutely enjoyed this roundtable. Never thought that I would ever play anything in survival, because, again, as I said, I'm not a masochist. Well, maybe I am a little, who knows? But it has definitely been a rewarding experience, and it definitely will be weird going back to playing in normal again. So if this is the last one, just thought I'd let you guys know that it has been great, and I may or may not see you again in the Commonwealth.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We've enjoyed it all season long, sir. What was he saying about the breaking of the provisioner lines?
So he didn't get into it deep, but it sounds like he's saying if you agree to, start this mission and invade the Commonwealth with Shank, your supply lines, your provisioners stop working. That would be bad.
Like all over the whole map, the whole thing I was doing.
I'm not going to invade you, big guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, man. I'm just invading the other ones. All the provisioners are gone, he says. Wow.
That can't be
That
right.
is huge.
That can't be right.
Yeah.
Word must get out fast that the general's gone bad.
So I didn't do Minutemen, but for me, actually, somebody automatically set up a supply line from Taffington Boathouse to the Raider location.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I on my way back, after taking, so I took County Crossing, so I hadn't taken that settlement before. I built a robot in Sunshine Tidings and went to assign them to County Crossing, and it wouldn't let me. So I looked at my provisioners, and there was already a supply line set up there.
So the
and
Raiders,
so I could fast travel
to Taffington.
No, from Sunshine Tidings directly to County Co-op.
Okay, cool.
Huh.
So, yeah, Sully was saying once you take them over again, you set them back up, or maybe they get set back up for you, but that's great. Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and I don't know if it's different because I'm, one, I didn't do Minimin, and so they're not affiliated, and two, I'm not interacting with any of my previous settlements. So, no, I'm not wiping anybody out.
Mhm.
That's
good.
That'll be a headache if they just eliminate all your previous.
That'll be a real headache. And it's also going to be like, it's going to
long
be like,
walk.
take out Sanctuary. Like, I'm not taking out Sanctuary. Are you mad, Gage? I mean, I'm going to try to do this, but man, this is making it sound even worse. Wow.
I could, because I didn't take Sanctuary or Red Rocket.
Oh, wow. He also mentioned something about them needing to be 100% before taking over at some point. I didn't quite catch that. It was like, oh, no. Hope you don't got to get their happiness to 100% before invading them. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sure we'll stumble into it here in this weekend and see what happens.
As for his actual feedback, playing along in the Gulch, definitely fun. Like I talked last week about how if you have the robot, perk, you can hack them. But I played along with a few. But yeah, it's definitely fun. And I agree, hearing Courtney Taylor do that accent, your Soul Survivor is a good time.
He also mentioned he wanted map markers for the Star Cores. That made me think, are there quest markers in Skyrim for the Stones of Baranzaya?
No, but there's a mod for that. But yeah, it was a very popular mod if you want to collect all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Oh, Lord. All right. And I'm sure there's a mod for,
The
quest
mod for
marker.
Star Cores gives you all the Star Cores in a pile next to the computer.
Oh, that's even
so
more
convenient.
helpful. Good Lord, I'm going to load that right goddamn now.
Probably not on Xbox.
Probably not. Jeez, spoiled PC people. All right, Eric, thanks for your feedback all season long. We'll keep our eye out for part 3, but in case that was it, kudos for submitting pretty much all season long, and thank you so much for your participation in the project. We really couldn't do it without you, sir, so thanks so much.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got also a submission here from Clint, so let's take a listen to Clint.
G'day, everyone. Here we go with episode 10 of Peterson's Adventures. 2 more theme parks to go, Dry Rock Gulch and Galactic Zone. Dry Rock Gulch was pretty easy for Peterson, as her assigned high charisma meant easily passing a few red speech checks. Also, most of the bloodworms jumped out of the ground after she ran past, so her entourage of 4 followers usually killed them before she could even turn around. Just inside the entrance, she met with Sheriff Eagle, who wanted her to eradicate the source of bloodworms.
Well, howdy there, Sheriff. Looks like you got some pesky varmints here in the gulch that need straightening out.
It seemed the problem was centered in
Mad Mulligan's mine.
and she needed to get 3 parts of the combination from 3 more robots. With her original charisma of 9 and a few articles of clothing bumping it up to 15, Peterson had no problem convincing the 3 to give up the info without her having to run their errands for them. Then it was into the theatre to clean up the ants, which proved to be difficult and required a quick return to Fizztop and start over. Eventually, she got the safe open and the key to
Mad Mulligan's mine.
inside.
Mad Mulligan's mine.
The crew came in handy again, and Peterson only fired 3 shots total, as all the work was done by her crew. Back out, and the flag was run up the pole to hand the park over to the Disciples, her assigned faction. The next park was going to be a lot of fun, and I have to admit that I added a quick save mod after listening to last week's show. Good thing, too. So Peterson found several bodies at the entrance to the Galactic Zone, and listening to a holotape, determined the park's defences needed to be turned off. The problem here was there were some very active robots in defence mode, and unlike in Dry Rock Gulch, would open up on the first-person scene rather than popping up behind like the bloodworms. So the followers, always following, were not much use. Luckily, Peterson had saved ammo in the gulch because it sure was needed here. She found the computer mainframe and, inserting the 1 star core found on the floor, found where she needed to go to get enough star cores to switch off the defences. Crazy part here is she needed to kill off most of the defenders to get to the cores to switch off the defences. However, searching the theatre, Nuka Galaxy and the Among the Stars exhibit gave her the required 20 cores to be able to do the job. The other 15 cores will have to wait for a more leisurely time. Nuka Galaxy was definitely the hardest, as Peterson went through and found 5 of the 6 star cores, but it took 3 more walks through the building to eventually find the 6th.
Oh, good Lord.
All that done, and the flag run up to hand over to the disciples, Peterson turned to Gage, who was currently one of the crew,
Hope this isn't a waste of my time.
and he congratulated her and made the suggestion that next on the agenda was invading the Commonwealth, and she should go and talk to someone called Shank. Find out what course of action Peterson takes. Be sure to tune in next time we meet in the Wasteland. Cheers.
Oh, cheers, Clint. Thank you so much, sir. Been a pleasure all season long. Looking forward to your continued adventures in Mad Against Mine. Awesome. All right. Thoughts there for Clint, you guys?
Third time was the charm there on that one, Mad Mulligan's Mine. I didn't realize I was muted during that. I laughed once or twice, but I guess it was muted. That's probably good. Oh my goodness, had me cracking up. But yeah, I love the robots, and I love looking forward to more of what Peterson gets into.
The robots attack the first person in line instead of the people behind. Can you draw fire from them and then hop behind, your wall of 4 brigades, your brigade of followers there? Oh, good Lord. Yeah, those robots were unnecessarily difficult. I do not remember it being so hard in Nuka World. I know I wasn't playing Survival the last time I played this, but I didn't realize that would put that much of a twist on the difficulty level of all the robots there. Super, super difficult. All right. Thanks, Clint, and thank you, Eric. That's our feedback for this week. What else we got on the agenda tonight? Oh, looks like we got a little bit of Iguana Bits, Jess. What do we got in the way of news?
Sure, let's drop into some news. So it's, when we started the show, there was almost nothing. I've added a couple of things, but let's be honest, kind of a dry week. Dry month in terms of Fallout news, at least since the show leaks. I will say the footage that leaked from Gamescom that was shown in the special meetings when people were looking at Starfield, and then they got the Gamescom footage of the TV show. That is on the web now, not just the crappy version, but there's good versions out there if people want to look for it. But that does mean that it probably will be, the real trailer will be shown on Amazon soon. However, stuff I do have on Iguana Bits, bombs drop rumors. So pulling up the calendar, every year they highlight bombs drop day. And I made the joke last year, or actually last week, that probably, once again, it'll be just, a couple of non-events where they give us a bunch of things together. We often get the whole, you're going to get caps galore, or caps aplenty, and, extra script, and Minerva's big sale. Like you get out 3 or 4 events at once, and they call it a celebration. Well, all well and good. But rumors are this year there may be a couple cool things happening. So I don't know if they're in-game events or announcements or what. There may be a special stream or something. But yeah, we should get some way of bombs drop day being acknowledged this year. So I wanted to mention that. Just rumors, but fun. And of course, like we talked about before, we have the 5th anniversary coming up of 76. That's on November 14th. And I know we're doing a parade for that. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. That's coming together. There will be more formal information out there for people who want to join, but the parade will be on the Bethesda official channel. They've mentioned it now too. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I'll give you more details as it comes out. We still got 2 months, but I'll be hosting it along with a few other people, and it's going to be a great time.
Sweet.
Yeah. Let's see. So those are the rumors and all that. Now, that is all that's on the calendar because the rest of September, very dry. It is very dry rock gulch up in here, unless, you're out there getting the scoreboard. Let's see. But in the world of news, we do have new things in the Atom Shop. Pulling it up, let's see. What do we have? The ButcherBot cooking station I mentioned is still free. That's the cool choppy robot. It's a really cool looking robot with a bunch of knives and animated and really awesome. There's also a tan beret. So, if the other berets are too colorful, if the Fosnacht beret is too glorious for you, and you want, a nice like taupe beret, maybe a dun beret, you can get that in the Atomic Shop for free right now. There wasn't much new this week that I can necessarily shout out as far as like new things that came out, but there's some good bundles and we had good stuff last week. So yeah, that is that.
I like that Butcher Bob machine guy. He's pretty fun cooking station. And I got the cake baker too, and I set them up right next to each other, so it's just chaos right there in that little corner of the settlement. Camp, not settlement, camp.
Did you end up getting him and setting him up after we talked about it?
Yeah, I mistakenly heard Jason say that it was in the Atomic Shop, so I spent just hours, not hours, but just way too much time sifting through all of the camp items in the Atomic Shop, being like, where the fuck is this thing? It's not.
Oh no!
But it was for some reason I thought he said it was on in the Atomic Shop, but it was a reward on the scoreboard, and I was like 2 levels underneath it. I just hadn't unlocked it yet, so I unlocked it earlier this week, and set up the butcher and the baker right next to each other. I just need to get a beehive there for a candlestick maker, and I can have my own little BBC ISSS podcast going on over there.
That'll be perfect. Put it in a room with space wallpaper. It'll be great.
Perfect.
So
yeah.
Speaking of rewards from scoreboards and Atom Shop items, that big old Paul Bunyan looking vault boy, the gambling vault boy there, the casino vault boy?
Yeah.
So that casino vault boy had a jackpot winner this week. It was mentioned on Reddit, and that's where I found out that, a lot of times you pull it and you get that 20 caps or 40 caps reward, or nothing. A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Well, someone said that they actually won a perfectly preserved pie and 1,000 caps.
No, I don't believe it for a second.
This person, I do not have a video proof, but this person posted, let's see, it was 3 days ago. They said, after a year of playing and probably a few thousand spins, I was pleasantly surprised they hit a jackpot of 1,000 caps and a slice of perfectly preserved pie. Has anyone else hit? And of course, there's a lot of disbelievers and damn what? And then someone else chimed in and said, yeah, a Finnish kid I used to play with hit in my camp for 1,000 as well. Just about blew up my eardrums out. He was so excited in party chat.
That's so weird. Where does the pie come out of? Does he have like a mouth slot or a
Do not ask where wasteland pie comes from when you get wasteland pie. It didn't come from a roof. It's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, someone else says their wife hit for 1,000, but no perfectly preserved pie. Aw.
That's weird. So cool.
Yeah.
Though.
Someone else says 250 caps. So I feel like I might have seen 100 caps before, but yeah, hearing 1,000 caps and perfectly preserved pie, I was very impressed.
I thought it was standard at 10 or 20 or whatever, because I don't think I've ever seen anything over that. Where I'll have to start pulling that thing more often.
Yep. Another thing, just coming up on Reddit, like looking at top posts from the last week, like I do, people are mentioning anecdotally, and I will say that it has somewhat been my experience as well, that the numbers on 76 haven't really dropped that much with Starfield out. The people were saying, I expected more to be dropping, on the Steam chart numbers and when I log into servers since Starfield came out, but I haven't seen, the drop hasn't been that noticeable. I mean, I think it's partly because we had Meat Week, people still early on the scoreboard, and like we said before, not everybody who plays Fallout, especially if they're into the online game aspect of it, are going to want to jump to Starfield. So if you're one of those people and you listen to the show and you made it this far, congratulations on your endurance. Well done.
How about
we talked a lot of Starfield.
How about our personal representation of that observation? Jess, when you log into 76, do you see a vast degrade of numbers out when you log in?
Yeah, it's not highly degraded. What's funny is a lot of people that I would see in 76, I do see some of them in Starfield, but I also see plenty in 76 for at least a while, doing their dailies or weeklies and doing other things. I would say anecdotally, I'm seeing a small drop off, but we had Meat Week too.
I would say it's an 80% drop. It's huge.
It has been for years.
Yes.
Okay.
My friends list is fucking ghost town. Everyone is gone. It might be the time I'm playing, but I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't been in Fallout 76 as much myself. Like I was saying, maybe like 2 days this past week and a couple days the week before. So like it's not that much. And when I am on, it's often when some friends are on too. Like if I'm on with friends from the Gacho, I've got a number of fellow Gachos on. So that's probably part of the whole self-selecting nature of it. But when I open up my friends list in general, it'll show like, 75 people in games. You look and they're like, 60 are in Starfield. So
a large percentage.
I have not seen any less people.
I was gonna ask Ray, but then I realized that's pointless.
I've seen zero drop off.
He would skew the numbers of the study. Oh, Ray. Still level 1 there, Ray?
I'm still level 0. Not installed.
Level retired. Score retirement forever. All right, jackpot winner. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty exciting and interesting. Not much else from Reddit besides those couple of posts. Like I said, it's a kind of slow Fallout news and all kinds of levels right now. But still, stuff happening. That said, Iguana Bits, we don't just talk Fallout, we also talk Bethesda news. And the first Starfield patch update has come out, and they talked about some of their future plans. So in an official post on September 13th, Bethesda came in and they said, first, an enormous thank you to all playing Starfield and your support. Absolutely blown away by the response and all you love about the game. Also reading all your great feedback on what you'd like to see improved or added to the game. This is a game, and this is all a quote, by the way, this is a game we'll be supporting for years and years to come. So please keep the feedback coming. Even if we don't get to your request immediately, we'd love to do in the future, like city maps. Our priority initially is making sure any top blocker bugs or stability issues are addressed and adding quality of life features many are asked for, unquote. So essentially what they're saying here, when they say top blocker bugs, these are what people call game-breaking bugs. A blocker bug is a bug that keeps you from completing a quest. So a quest blocker is the primary thing. Anything that blocks progression may not technically be game-breaking unless it's main quest, because technically you can just not do that quest. You can work around it. But any blocker bugs that keep you from turning in an item, obtaining an item, landing on a planet, that sort of thing is a blocker bug. So that's their number one issue, and then stability. And then, of course, quality of life features when you're asking for. So first update is a small hotfix. And then they also went on to say, these are a regular interval of updates coming up, including top community requested features, such as, and they list a couple things, brightness and contrast controls. Makes sense. Starfield has a very filmic kind of, soft blacks and stuff for those in there. So they're going to make it so people can change the contrast in case that helps their, the way they see things. And if they're not on a PC with controls, and features that'll do that. An HDR calibration menu, same thing. An FOV slider, that's the field of view slider. It's standard for PC games. We don't get it on, Xbox as much. Occasionally we do, but it's not something we have in most games. And on PC, you can still, you can do it through the INI file, the INI file. But adding a slider will be good. Native DLSS support. So that is what allows people to run at higher resolutions without taxing their card as much, getting a better frame rate. Ray, are you running an NVIDIA card or AMD card?
AMD.
And you're getting a really solid frame rate, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Bethesda worked with AMD and their solution all during the process. So, but DLSS will be for the NVIDIA people. And while there is a mod, community mod to support it, that I've heard works great. Yeah, I've heard they work great, but it can make it official. Also, for me specifically, a 32:9 ultra wide monitor support. So, if you don't just have a regular ultra wide, you got a super ultra wide. You had to really futz with it to make it work. So they're going to add that in there. So I will be playing Starfield full screen. I did load Starfield on my PC, by the way, Ray, this week. So It is with the Play Anywhere. I can go back and forth now, and I got it all loaded. But I am nervous about implementing any mods because I don't want to screw up my main save and hurt my achievements. So
there's a fix for that.
Yeah, I heard there's a fix for that. But I'm nervous about that, but it is working on PC. It does play wonderfully on the computer. And a silly thing they mentioned, an eat button for food. So yeah, instead of take or use food, they want to give you a button so you can, look at food and you can eat it.
Use food.
Don't worry about the eat animation. Make the file not found trait or the file not found background with selectable skills.
Wow, you mean roll your own and actually just choose 3 really useful skills?
Bingo.
How nice would that be? Like, yeah.
Why
not?
is it? Why? I mean, it's not like it's an online game where I'm getting an advantage.
They're
Just
like, these
let
are
me
the
make a damn character I
only
want.
3 you'd want. Well, I assume that's what file not found was going to be, but it's not. Yeah. So no matter what, when it comes to like a randomizer or anything with Starfield, or even just like knowing character you want to make, you're gonna have to take at least one trait off the bat you probably don't want, or one skill, I mean.
Yeah. Took me way too long to make that decision because there wasn't one that was, perfectly
Just
what I
what you
wanted.
wanted.
Yep. And then there's also in this announcement where they went in about their built-in mod support, parentheses creations that will work across all platforms, similar to what we've done with Skyrim and Fallout 4. Full support is planned to launch early next year. Until then, we know our PC community is already very active in the modding space. And if you have any feedback on how we can make this better, let us know. So then the specific notes about the update version 1.7.29, fixes and improvements, Xbox Series XS, the improved stability related to installations, various performance and stability improvements to reduce crashes and improve frame rate, which I can vouch. They fixed some of my crashing and settlements that I was having. Beginning of the week, settlements, once I got ramped up, pretty crashy. A couple of things were locking up, and now those exact things are not locking up and haven't for the last 2 days since the hotfix came out. And then they fixed a few quests. Well, quest blockers, there was one on All That Money Can Buy. There was one on Into the Unknown, which deals with New Game Plus, so we don't need to know about that. And Shadows in Neon. So if you got stuck on a Neon quest or All That Money Can Buy, those ones are fixed for you now.
Sweet.
So that's it for the official Starfield news, but good to see they're already on it.
At the risk of turning it back into the Starfield show again. One you guys mentioned that having certain, are they called companions or followers, or what are they called in Starfield? Companions. You mentioned having specific companions can benefit, you said Barrett and the space fighting, like dog fighting in space.
Well, not having them as companions, having them as crew.
As crew.
Two different things. Yep.
Okay, yeah, I'm still learning all this.
So assigning crew, in order to assign crew, anyone that you have available for your recruited companions who aren't currently assigned to a task can be assigned to an outpost or a ship. So if you go, to open up your main menu and you go to the lower left-hand quadrant where you look at your ships and you pull that up and you're looking at your ships, you hit Y to look at the crew menu, I believe. And that'll come up. It'll show a list of all your crew and companions. You can then select them and assign them places. So say you recruited, outpost specialist, you can assign to an outpost, of course. But say you recruited my boy Gideon, you can assign Gideon to your ship, and now he's going to give you a boost to your ballistic and your missiles. Or Barrett. Barrett doesn't just have, the skill, the particle beam skill I mentioned, but he has one for starship engineering too. I think it's starship something, and it makes your repair go faster. It helps a number of different things. So he is an all-rounder in a lot of ways, especially if you have the particle beam weapons like Ray is talking about. But yeah, he's an all-rounder. And then that's where you choose to assign them. So it's based on the number of slots you have on your ship too. You start with 2 slots. You can actually reduce them. I think you can reduce them by having pretty much no real habs or whatever. But you're usually going to have 2. And as you increase halves, you can increase that. You can assign up to 3 before you get a skill. Then once you start getting your Starship Command skill, that's when you can assign 4 or 5 or more companions.
Are all of their benefits passive? Like just having him assigned to the ship, it benefits this, that, and the other? Or like I've wanted to be like, shit, I can't unlock this. Hey, can you attempt to unlock this door? Like, do they have active benefits? Like Nick Valentine can go hack a terminal for you. Who is it? Kate or someone can go unlock doors for you. Like, is there active questing benefits to certain companions that you guys have seen? I can't find that command tree in their dialogue
that I've seen.
Right. Like you get pop-up interjections. You definitely get some cool pop-up interjections at times. Where, they'll be like, hey, can I help with that? Or if you get in a situation like a story thing, or you're talking to another character, might be like, ask this character to help. You got started with you.
Yeah.
Hey, ask Sarah's advice or ask Sarah to help. But I don't have like pick a lock with a companion or anything like that.
I just hadn't seen anything like that. I just didn't know if I was missing that in the conversation tree somewhere. Okay.
Yeah. And I did a quick check, and there is not a script extender for Starfield yet.
Yet. Hopefully after a bit, although it's only for PC again, so I guess,
I don't know if it's in my settings or something, but one thing I do like more about Fallout 4 than Starfield is that when I talk to a person, I feel like it's like I can see me and them talking and having the conversation. But in Starfield, it looks like Fallout New Vegas, where it just sort of zooms in on the person's face. And it was like,
like the Oblivion New Vegas. It's the classic.
That. Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, I kind of like it, but I enjoyed the variety of views you got in 4, where it would show both of you. And I think since you're not actually talking, they don't want to include you.
Yeah.
But they could do an over-the-shoulder perspective, occasionally show the back of your head and you're talking to them. It could show different views. I do like when other characters interject that switches to them, though. Like, say you're talking to somebody and your companion chimes in. It switches and you see them, and then it switches to the other person, you see them.
I didn't even think that it's because of the voice protagonist that they do it that way in Fallout 4, but that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys. We have a little bit of...
What time is it?
Game time. So let's play a game. Why don't we? The game time this week is a shout at your phone list, and the category, the game we're calling Attractive Galaxy. The category has 12 answers, and the clue is these are the attractions in the Galactic Zone. There are a few of them that are quest markers, and I want you to name all 12 of the fun attractions in the Galactic Zone and Nuka World for me, if you could. Let me pull up my list here. Oh, shoot, it went back. All right.
I don't... Oh, boy. This is going to be hard. In the Galactic Zone specifically?
In the Galactic Zone. You were just there, Jess. You did not
And
walk
I rode a
around
lot of the rides, but I don't know if I remember.
You're going to tell me what all those rides were. So let's go ahead and roll it down. Jess, take your first call here. What you got? What's
Vault-Tec Among the Stars.
Vault-Tec Among the Stars. Yes, the last one on the list. Ray, what's up?
The Battle Zone?
The Battles of the Robco Battle Zone. Good job, Ray. Jess, back to you.
Okay, Robco Battle Zone, Vault-Tec Among the Stars. The theater.
Yes.
Galactic Theater?
The Starlight Interstellar Theater. Good job, Jess. Ray,
Interstellar, okay.
Back to you.
All right, so one.
The ones we go inside are easy to remember, but I'm trying to remember some of the rides outside too.
Does the market count?
The Star Market does count. Good job, Ray. Jess, back to you.
G-Force Drop.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
The Arc.
That's the one I was playing with last week, yeah.
The Arc Jet
One that goes
G-Force.
up and down and up and
Yep,
down.
Yep, that one's great. A clue is to think about where on the outside of the park you had to go to collect all the star cores. They put star cores at all of these, I think.
Yeah, but I did them all inside.
Oh, right. Ray, we're back to you.
Great.
Thanks.
Now I can't think of the name of the one with all the flying saucers in it.
I want to give you a hint.
I don't care. You guys can work together on this.
So just think about what it's about and put the word Nuka in front of it.
Nuka Galaxy?
Nuka Galaxy is an entry. Good job, Ray.
Like, I know, like, Among the Stars, the Galaxy, I get them all. them all screwed up, but that is
they're similar. All of these are similarly named too, which makes it more difficult. Jess, back to you. Do you have another one?
I'm thinking about the list where you can actually find the star cores. That's kind of, I'm thinking of the ones that you go inside. The last one I can think of on there is Starport Nuka.
Yes, Starport.
Does that
Nuka.
count?
It does count, absolutely. Ray, can you think of any others?
The employee zone.
The employee zone. Let's see. Let me check my list. No, I don't see.
I got
an
a key
employee
for
zone. I think it's only attraction to employees. Any final guesses there, Ray or Jess? Do you want to give him any clues?
I got nothing.
The only thing I can think of, if it counts, is like the people mover section thingy.
The people mover section thingy. Oh, yes.
I know what it is. I'm trying just not tell him the name.
Oh, okay. Ray, does that help you at all?
No.
Jess, for the win.
The Nuka, or what do they call those things? Moving sidewalk. The Nuka moving sidewalk.
You're actually kind of close.
I'm referring to the Star Walk, right? That's the whole the passage with all the damn lasers in it. You can't shoot till they shoot you.
Yep. The Star Walk. Okay, Jess, how many of the rest can you get? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more. Can you name any of the rest of the 4?
Yes. So there's one with a giant rocket coming down.
Yes.
A bunch of the handies on it.
Take your own advice.
Handy tilt-a-whirl, handy scramble-whirl.
There's the handy whirl, and there's also the rockets you just sang, but you gave Ray a clue like 2 minutes ago. about rockets.
Put the word Nuka in front. Nuka rockets.
Nuka rockets. Yes, absolutely. Okay, we've got 1, 2. You got 2 left. You think of any? I don't even remember what these are by name. I'd have to look these up to.
Yeah, I can picture them all, but I
was too worried about the stupid robots killing me.
Yeah, there's another rocket one, but I don't know what it's called. I think that's all I got.
The last 2 on the list. Congratulations, Jess. You win this round of...
What time is it? Game time!
The final 2 that were not named. Jess, the other rocket one is called Blast Off with an exclamation point. And the last one is called Splashdown. Splashdown and Blast
Shouldn't that be in the Safari Zone?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up to see what Splashdown is.
Splashdown. Yeah.
So that's great. Good job, guys. You got I was thinking, well, they'll get the ones with the quest markers, definitely.
Yeah, those 6 or 7 were the easy ones, but the other ones, Ray getting a star marker, that was a pull. I don't know if I would have gotten that one. Once you said that, I'm like, well, the Star Walk is labeled. Like, it pops up as a location on your thing.
Good job, guys.
I was hiding under that sign.
I was taking cover, and I looked up, and there it was. Good job, guys. Okay, what do we have for the rest of the show? I've got a shout-out here on the way out the door. I would like to take this opportunity to wish our longtime friend and show participant, roundtable participant, comes on the show quite frequently, Clint, happiest of birthdays, sir. Wish you many, many more happy years, and hopefully you stick around with us on the show here, and welcome to come back anytime you wish, and just happy birthday. Hope you have the best of days, sir. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday to Clint. All right, do you guys have anything else you'd like to cover on the show? Wait, here, Clint, let me get you one of these.
Scorecation!
How about that? There's a shout.
Teasing him with a scorecation early. Yeah.
All right, guys. Anything else you want to cover tonight before we shove off into space?
While we're doing shout-outs, let's do a shout-out to Sandbox Quint. Just jumped into the live channel for the first time. Welcome to the Discord. He joined the Discord earlier this week.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining, Quint. Let's see, what else do we have for shout-outs? No, it's so much Starfield. We've done enough Starfield tonight.
It's just all Starfield.
I'm good.
That's all it is right now.
Even my shouts.
All right, you guys. Well, in that case, I'd like everyone to go listen to it if it's their first time checking it out. It's a nice place to jump in. Episode 100 of the Butcher, Baker, Candlemaker in Space, a No Man's Sky dedicated podcast. Check them out at BBCISSS over on Twitter. And
we might have talked a little bit about Starfield. Too.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of their conversation revolves around Starfield. And he's also at Ray LB. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on this week.
Good times.
And Jess can be found at Sleep is 4T. And also check out her other podcast at Dames Who Game. Very nice podcast as well. Jess, thanks so much for hopping on this week.
Have a great one.
I can be found at Indie Android. The show is at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed, and we will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrimatic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
Masochist.
Spanking me hard.
Raising your hardness level to very hard.
As soon as I can get a cock, I want it to be rear entry. Enter from behind.
You're firing fast. You're firing hard with no skills at all. Beefed up.
A lot of fun.